The Frontline starts now.
And we welcome you to another edition of the Frontline podcast right here on the North Bay Echo Podcast Network, the official podcast of your Powassan Voodoos. And we have a couple of Powassan Voodoos on this week. I'm Kortney Kenny, pleased to be joined by Harrison from the Garrison, Harrison Clements. Harrison, welcome back for a second week in a row. Good to have you. Nice hoodie you got as well.
Thank you. A shout out to our friends at Source for Sports North Bay. And I'm not fired yet.
No, you aren't. You also, are you wearing the golf shirt underneath?
Yes.
I don't have a golf shirt yet.
I can't unzip it. It's there. It's there. You'll have to trust me.
It matches the toque a little bit.
Yeah, that was intentional.
I was going to say, was that better? Well, it's funny because it's maroon, and we were talking about the Pete's earlier this year, and I was like, man, I really don't like maroon.
These are nice golf shirts,
though. They are nice golf shirts. 100% there. I'll take them. But Harrison, we got an action-packed episode this week with Miles Gordon and Caden Dubreuil from the Powassan Voodoos, and we're going to finally see some Powassan Voodoos action this weekend. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, it's been, a couple of weeks now, which is way longer than we were expecting. I know we looked at the schedule and was like, oh, wow, I guess we got a bit of a gap here, but we got an intense back-to-back Espanola on Friday, and then the Cubs on Saturday, so that's sure to be entertaining whenever those two teams are in town, especially that close, and especially after they 5-0'd Espanola in their last game. So,
yeah, we'll get into a little bit of a breakdown of the Voodoos' most recent games, and we also have to talk about the battalion as well with the breakdown there on a couple of things, and we also have a breakdown of it'll be a preview, I guess, of a video that'll be coming out soon enough of more shootout action of our floor hockey escapades at the YMCA here in town.
Yeah, not nearly as good a showing from me, but we'll roast that later.
I still didn't score on you in the shootout.
Yeah, but you won in another way.
Yep, that's true. And I am not going to let you forget that.
Nope.
I don't think even your own teammates are going to let you forget that.
They did. I had no chance of forgetting in the moment, which is a rarity. But
all right, with that being said, we'll cut to a quick break here, and we'll hear from Caden Dubreuil and Miles Gordon on the other side of this.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
And we welcome you back to the front line here, and we have a couple of Powassan Voodoos with us this week. Miles Gordon and Caden Dubreuil. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. It's really exciting to have you here.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
No problem. I mean, one of you guys is from the Nickel City, so but the other, I mean, Miles, like when we talked to you back in the summer, I've lost track of the many different places. Like where we've got a guy who's come from an hour and a half away. You've come from like every possible corner of North America.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy journey hockey takes you on, right? So it's glad to be in Powassan.
Can you, just because, like I said, I've lost track of all the places you've been, can you recount all the places you've been?
Yeah. So I started out playing like AAA hockey and right around where I live in Illinois. I played for AAA in Madison, Wisconsin. And then I visited Shattuck St. Mary's in Minnesota, and that was like an eye-opening experience to kind of like academy life and academy hockey. So me and my dad did a little bit of research, and we found a place in BC, Rink Hockey Academy, and that was an awesome experience. It really kind of like transformed my hockey career. Like I was on track to be decent, but then maybe not a junior hockey player. but the academy really helped me get better. And then I went to another academy in Manitoba for 2 years, and that was really good. It really it's a really small town, kind of like Powassan, so not much to do except for hockey. So you're really focused on what you're there to do, right? And then I reached out to Pete. Got out to June camp, was it?
Yeah, I think it was early July or
July,
whatever.
yeah.
Hockey in July is weird, man.
Yeah.
But
Feels weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did good enough at the camp to get signed to the team. So, drew me right here.
And here you are,
Yeah.
hanging out in Powassan.
Frontline podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a wild journey. That's the big thing. Not the Voodoos, is the Frontline podcast.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. But I mean, like, I think you were telling us back then, like San Francisco and stuff too. Like you've lived like.
Oh yeah, I was born in San Francisco, but I don't know. I didn't spend much time here.
No.
I moved to Illinois right away.
So have you ever gone back or?
No, I've never.
No.
Been. I've actually I've flown through, but I've never
You have family
spent
there?
time there. No family. My dad just went to school there, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
San Fran. I don't know if I'd ever want to spend a lot of time. This is if anyone's listening in San Francisco, I'm sorry. I don't know if I ever really wanted to spend a lot of time in San Fran, but obviously I want to drive across the Golden Gate Bridge. But Alcatraz is definitely on my bucket list. I have to go to Alcatraz. So I'm sure you don't remember it, but
Absolutely not. I was 5 months. So.
And then for you, Caden, I mean, growing up in Sudbury, how's that helped the hockey journey? You a big Wolves fan growing up, or?
I was growing up.
Yeah.
Went to a lot of Wolves games. I always found that it was always competitive. When I was growing up, there was 2 teams. So there was the Nickel City Suns and there was the Sudbury Wolves, and I got lucky enough in my age group we were always the better team. So it was always fun playing against your city rivals growing up. So and we always beat them. So
Well, I mean, you can't complain too much with that. I think the whole program's changed to the Wolves now, though, right?
oh yeah, we switched to. So there's only one team now.
Yeah.
And last year they switched to the Nickel Capitals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I have no clue why they did that. And then this year they switched back to Sudbury Wolves. So all the AAA teams are Wolves. And then I think the AA teams are Nickel City. So they just, I think it's because the 2 organizations combined it.
Oh, okay.
They still needed to keep
It's
Nickel City around.
So confusing.
It makes no sense. And
No.
it changes all the time.
No. But I mean, the OHL Wolves, did they have a big pull on you too? Or are you kind of
Not really. We won't get the U18 team won't get their draft picks on their team really.
Yeah.
It's not like you saw last year with Mike McIver. He went to the U18 Trappers. That doesn't happen with Sudbury really.
No, they just kind of push things to Espanola. Or well, now they're kind of split between Espanola and the Cubs. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is.
But no, I mean, were you a fan of the Wolves growing up though? Because there were some pretty good Sudbury Wolves teams OHL wise growing up, right? So
yeah, I was growing up. They had a lot of bad teams when I was growing up. But
I'm not complaining.
when they got Quentin Byfield, I remember that's when they started to get really good, and that was huge. The whole city knew who he was. He was royalty in the city.
I remember interviewing him for the radio station here, Country 600, when he came into town. And I asked him flat out, it probably caught him a little bit off guard, but at that time you were seeing a lot of first overall caliber guys in the OHL go to London's or go to the Sioux or whatever. And I remember asking him, I was because Sudbury had been bad for a while.
Yeah.
They didn't really hit on a guy like David Levin kind of thing when they had first overall pick. And I remember asking him, I was why'd you... you were the consensus guy for a year.
Yeah.
Why'd you pick Sudbury? He's I wanted to go somewhere that was hockey crazy.
Yeah.
So
it's true. They get lots of fans. If you go on a Saturday, Friday night, they do get lots of fans. Yeah.
Last year when I was still visiting with a girlfriend there, who's since moved to North Bay because she picked the right city, but no, when we used to go down and we'd be bored on a Friday night or a Saturday night, it was let's just go to the Wolves game and have fun, right? It's always a good time, Sudbury Saturday night. So, they got some good deals there too for food and drinks and stuff. So it's kind of nice. And a lot of people give that arena flack, but I don't mind it. I actually don't mind going to games there.
I don't like the arena.
No, not a fan.
I was really excited when they announced the new arena, casino, like all that, the hotel.
That went down pretty quick.
I was so mad when that went down. I couldn't believe it. Like it would have been so good for the city.
Yeah,
it would have attracted people. People would have came, gambled.
I wish that again my girlfriend was here because she would debate you on that endlessly because she's like one of those like she's like we need it but it's in a stupid location where they wanted to put it.
I didn't mind the look. Like it's a little bit out there, but
yeah,
it's not awful. Like it would be good for cars leaving, entering. Like I don't think it would have been bad.
Yeah, like it's on the main drag and it's on its way. It's on the edge of town. Like I don't know, but now they're all like buying up like downtown Sudbury and like just bulldozing things. And
yeah, like right beside the arena, like the wacky wings, all that in there. They're just tearing it all down and they're just gonna build the new arena right there. Apparently,
yeah. So. And the parking down there is terrible too.
Awful.
That's like the one thing when I go to a Wolves game or if I'm going to cover the battalion there, I'm just like, this is stupid.
Well, have you ever been in like the tunnel?
Yeah, like underneath the rail line.
Yeah. So my dad used to go, he'd park like across the tunnel and then we'd walk a bit and we'd go through the tunnel and it's a lot easier. It's a long walk. But.
So weirdly enough, that's where she lived was on Riverside Drive when she lived in Sudbury.
Okay.
So that's, the street right there where the tunnel is. And the first time we had ever gone, producer Ben was with us too. The battalion clinched a division there. It was the first game I'd ever been to. He's just going ham on the sound effects here. But anyways, we parked on that side and then because there was no parking, like absolutely no parking at the arena. And we walked under the tunnel. And then when we came back, everyone had like parking tickets. And we were like,
oh, yeah.
Thanks. Like, awesome.
Yeah, they'll be watching there. I remember when my dad got one on a Sunday night, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always there. They're watching.
They get more parking for your arena. Like, it's not that there's much room, but that being said, though, guys, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your season so far. Like you guys started off pretty hot. As a team, and other teams unfortunately have caught up to you now, so now it's a bit of a dogfight. Miles, we'll start with you, but going down into the stretch run, how's things going for the Voodoos?
Yeah, I think we're especially coming back from winter break with some new additions. I think our past, how many games have we played since break? 5 or so?
Yeah, not many.
5?
But enough.
I don't know. I don't think we've gotten outshot or anything like that, and we results aside, I thought we crushed Sudbury. Their goalie played really well, stole them the game. But, I think we've been grouping well as a group, right? And Voodoos will roll into playoffs.
Yeah, let's go, right? So, Caden, how about you? What do you think?
I think we've been dominating teams that we play.
Yeah.
Like, every game we play is close, or if we win, we're winning big. We won the last 2 games, shutouts 5-0 both games. I think we're going in the playoffs with the right mentality. We're going in to win, and we're all or nothing.
For you, what's it like going home to play in Sudbury?
It's nice. Like I have lots of family that will go to the games. My girlfriend will go to the games, so it's nice having everyone there and getting to see everyone.
I think I don't know if I asked you this when you first signed. I can't remember. This was so long ago. The grass was green back then. Now it's covered in snow. What made you why did you decide Powassan over the Cubs, like your hometown team?
So last year I came to the main camp in August.
Yep.
And I met Peter. I already knew Chris, obviously. I met Peter and I saw what kind of coach Peter was, and I knew right away that last year it was a team that I wanted to AP with. I got lucky enough to play a couple games with them, but as soon as I saw what kind of coach Pete was and what kind of person he was, I knew I wanted to play for the Voodoos.
I'll take it. You got it. You guys got any good dirt on Pete, or podcast safe dirt? Well, we'll go with that.
I don't think I have.
Yeah, I don't know. Not podcast safe.
What about, we can get a little bit worse with this one, Chris Dawson? You guys got any? Because I give it to him. I try to give it to him as much as I can.
I know Caleb gets teased in the room a little bit, so that's all I reveal right now.
Yeah, it's all fun and games in the dressing room. Yeah. At the end of the day, everyone knows that we all love each other. We're all brothers.
Yeah.
Whenever I see him, I always call Caleb Superstar. Because last year he was absolutely lighting up the Great North U18 League.
Oh yeah.
So Superstar every time I see him. That's what I call him. So he comes out of the French River last week, and we're walking, or when we were there and we're walking out together, I said, how's it going, superstar? Nice goal tonight or whatever, right? And he's like, I've scored 6 goals this year, 4 of them against that guy is all he said to me. I was just like, oh, you're playing French River a couple of more times. You might as well get to double digits. So, Miles, I wanted to ask, with the goalie situation here in Powassan, 4 guys, you don't see that very often. How do you guys manage that? How do you kind of manage not always playing?
Yeah, it's tough. It makes practice really competitive, right? Like it's really early in the morning. You got to wake up and get ready for practice because sometimes that influences if you play a game that weekend, right? So you got to have every time you step on the ice, have the same mentality, right? And that's to stop every puck. And that 4 goalie kind of group, and it really makes you kind of value your ice time, right? And it's no hard feelings between the goalies, like, at all. Like, we're all close. Me, Tyson, Dan, especially because we've been here the whole year. But yeah, the new guy's fitting in well, and he tries hard in practice. So
yeah, that was gonna be my follow up. Was like, how are you guys all meshing? Because everyone, like, at the same time, you guys might all be friends, but at the end of the day, you guys want to play, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird dynamic between kind of competition on the ice, and then as soon as you get off the ice, it kind of switches off, right? Like, I like to think of it as 2 different worlds, right? You can be like not enemies, but enemies on the ice, right? Because you're fighting for ice time. But if like Tyson gets a nod in front instead of me, I got to support him with all I can, right? Got to be like a brother to him, especially even if I'm not pleased about not playing, right? But you got to support your teammate, be the best teammate you can, even if you're not playing.
That's probably a good way of looking at it, because I mean, like I said, with 4 goalies, I mean, even with 3 goalies, there wasn't a guarantee of there's 2 games this weekend, who's playing, right? So now with 4, you might not play for a couple of weeks. So that's a very good mentality to have going into that. Caden, with you yourself, I mean, you've seen some games on defense this year. I mean, you're a forward, and that's what you've come up as.
Yeah.
What was that kind of like, having to play on the back end?
Well, so it all started when we went to Renfrew at the start of the year. I think we were playing Espanola there, and we had a D get thrown out for a fight, and another D get hurt, I think. And I looked at Hardo and I said, I played D growing up a bit, so if you need a guy on the back end, I can play it. And my mentality always is, like, anything to help the team win. And, like, coaches love a player that can play 2 roles. Like, like, knowing that you have a player that can do this, do that, like, it's a good look. So I always think of it as having fun, right? Like, it's fun to play no matter what. So forward, D, whatever it is, as long as I'm playing, it's fun.
It kind of works out when you're on the back end, because, man, you have speed to burn. So it's not uncommon to see you lead the rush even from the back end. So that's always fun to watch. Yeah. How would you guys say, coming in? I know you were in AP last year, but both you guys are kind of quote unquote rookies this year in the NOJHL. How would you guys say the team's meshing? How would you say you're meshing with the team? I'll start with you, Caden.
Yeah, I think I'm meshing well. Like, I knew a lot of the guys from last year. Like, I met them all last year, and like I love the boys. Like, it's nice. It's nice seeing all the guys come back, and it's good. Yeah, I feel like one of the boys.
Fair enough. You, Miles?
Yeah, I mean, coming in, I didn't really know anybody at all, actually. So it's kind of tough, but
that's
fair. Litz, our captain, really made you feel included from the get-go, right? As soon as you're in the team group chat, kind of, as soon as everyone knows your sign, they try to include you in things. And we did a lot of team bonding at the very start of the year, with, like, go to the beach or whatever, and lots of stuff like that to really get the team chemistry rolling, right? And I think that really paid off into our, like, I don't know, we started off hot, 10 games winning streak right at the beginning, right? So yeah, it's been good, really good. With
being in close to the Chicago area and all that stuff, did you get to spend a lot of time up here before main camp? I know you were already signed, but was it kind of, you came up in July and then you couldn't come up right away, kind of thing? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I came to July camp, and I stayed in the Thompson's house, which is good. I got to see kind of like what the town was like in Powassan, and Marta showed me around a little bit, and Pete made sure to show me around. Me, Darby, Zach, we're all in like the group that like kind of like is signed already, but like not quite, So yeah, I got a good feel for the place, and as soon as I got home, I signed. I had to talk it over with my parents because I came up alone, but yeah, it was good to see it for that brief moment I was there, I guess, and then it made my decision a little bit easier.
Fair enough. And for you, Caden, I mean, coming from not that far away, really, but what was the reaction with your parents kind of like? Because I remember, meeting you the day you signed, and obviously it's all happy and exciting at the time. But when you first tell them, you AP'd with them, you like what Peter's telling you, but to not only be going to Sudbury's biggest rival in North Bay, but also now you're going to Powassan on top of that, right? What was the reaction kind of like at home?
My parents were excited.
Yeah.
They knew it was going to be an awesome experience. And like, I feel like I've learned so much, like not being at home, like living with new people, like it gets you like opening up. Right. So they were excited for me. They knew it was the right decision because I knew it was. So they're going to support me no matter what. Right.
Fair enough. I got to ask you guys now, too, that you're kind of moved around the league a little bit. You guys have seen most of the places. What's your favorite and least favorite place so far that you've been to in the NOJHL?
Favorite? Probably Tibbins.
Yeah.
Honestly. It's a really cool rink. Like,
yeah.
Team aside, right? Obviously. But, like, their rink and their fans, they're crazy there. They got a lot of fans. I think they had, like, 1,300 when we were there, something crazy.
Yeah, it's a packed barn almost every game.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. And then least favorite, probably French because it's just so dead. It's so dead.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I think I have the exact same answer.
Yeah,
I've always loved, like, even playing AAA. I love playing in Timmins. Everyone says the boards are too square, but I really like it. I always score there too. I scored some nice goals there.
We'll take it if you keep scoring against Timmins. So.
Oh yeah. The least favorite has to be French River.
Yeah.
This is a bad rink.
So I've been to, Cochrane's not a team anymore, but I've been there. I've been to, obviously, Sudbury and then French River. I've never been to Timmins, but I always hear good things. But whenever I go to French River, I'm like, man, the food here is so good. Like, I rave about the food all the time. Like, we had Ryan Patrick and Dylan McElhaney on last week, and McElhaney threw Patrick under the bus a little bit by saying that he had like a chicken wrap before the game and all this stuff. But everyone was kind of hitting up the canteen before the game. It was wild.
Well, I saw Patty eating a hot dog after the game, so I don't know. I don't know what he's chirping about.
Yeah,
but
I always get a burger after those games. Their burgers are good.
Oh, they're so good.
Oh yeah.
Like I couldn't believe it the first time I went, and then this time Pete gave me like he bought a poutine, and the poutine was like about yay high, and I don't know how to really explain that for people listening at home, but it was like curds all the way through, and then he like ate, like he brought like back like 4 forks for us at the table. He's like, here you go, guys. Like, we weren't expecting it. He had like 2 bites, and then he gave me the rest. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, but it's so good. Like,
oh yeah,
it's ridiculous. I guess when you're the only place in town that really serves food, you kind of have to be good, right? So,
yeah.
But yeah, I've heard a lot of it's dead. Plus, I've heard the boards are a little rough in French River too. Yeah. Well, the one behind what would be your net sounds dead. The second the puck hits it, it sounds like it's rotten.
Yeah, I don't know. They try, when I was in net versus them, I think we won 6-2. They tried a couple bounce plays, but like they came off hot, but then sometimes they would just die right on the boards. Like it's a weird combo of like bouncy and not bouncy.
Well, I wonder if it's because like the wall's like right behind the boards. Like, I wonder if that's because that has something to do with it. Like, it's really weird.
It really throws it off.
Yeah, there's like no buffer there or anything. But when it hit, like it was the little, you could see the seam in the boards right behind the net. Yeah. Excuse me, and wherever it hit, it just like sounded different.
Yeah,
it was weird. Yeah. Plus the curling circles really throw you off. As a goalie, I've asked like Dan this, and he said it didn't really affect him. But as a goalie, is it harder to track the puck off the curling or house when they shoot it?
No, you're not really focused on that. The only thing that like really affects your tracking is like lighting in rinks, or like if like in Sudbury, if they have like a dark background and the puck goes above the boards, right? It kind of
we don't know what happened with that one.
Yeah, we won't get into that here, right? We won't get into that. But yeah, ice conditions, other than like softness and hard, it doesn't really affect.
No way. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, it was that game again being a Saturday in French River. You think it'd be a little bit more lively, but. There was like 2 people there.
There's always that one guy who starts the chant. What's the chant? He's like,
Oh, I think it's just
go
let's
Rapids.
Yeah, I think it's just let's go
He's the
Rapids.
only one chanted the whole crowd.
It's like 3-0 already. and
He's
just like-
relentless too. Start every period, no matter the score. Let's go Rapids.
Yeah, I think we were winning 5-0
Yeah.
and going into the third period, and we could hear him doing it. Like,
yeah.
He gets the crowd fired up, right? I mean, whatever works.
well, him and one other person.
Yeah, I think a couple people get into it.
Yeah.
So I met a guy probably back in October who's from Windsor originally, but he moved up to Noelville. And we were talking, and I said, oh, Noelville, have you ever gone, I was wearing a Voodoos hoodie at the time, so he was asking me about it. I said, well, you ever go to Rapids games? He's like, yeah, I wanted to get integrated into my new community, and I thought this would be a good place, go and meet some people. And then he's like, oh, the team sucks. That's basically what he said to me. And I was like, oh, poor bugger. And then I told Pete that, I said, because he came by to drop something off to me one day. I said, you'll never guess who I'm in a meeting with. He said, what's that? I said, one of the 5 French River Rapids fans. I mean, we dunk on them all the time, but it's tough sledding. But again, the top food in the league from what I've experienced. So that's like the one thing. But like, is it tough for you guys like to get up and be like, we got to play French River today? Like, or is it like just another game? You guys are ready to go?
No, I think you get prepared either way. Like, obviously, you know who you're playing, right? But
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Speaking for myself, I get prepared the same no matter what team I'm playing, right? Because it's 2 points no matter who you're playing, right?
That's
And
true.
2 points in the playoff race could make
Yeah.
a difference at the end of the season. So
That's true.
Yeah, like I'm always gonna prepare the same for every game. Like it's never gonna change, no matter who we play. And,
like
Yeah.
it won't hurt you to not prepare. You know, like it could only hurt you. Like it could hurt you if you don't. Right.
Well, and I mean, we dunk on them, but they've won a game this year, I think, against you guys, right?
yeah.
Or then they went to a shootout one time or something. Like,
Yeah,
I think the one
beat
they won was when they went to
and they
shootout.
lost to Sudbury in shootout like a couple times. And
Well, if you're not prepared, they can.
Oh, yeah.
Like they don't quit.
Yeah.
Like
No.
they keep working hard. Like if you're not prepared, they'll catch you by surprise.
they did get worse though after that.
Yeah,
they
they-
traded away a couple of better, probably best players.
Yeah.
I think
gonna say.
I think one time the game that got canceled against Espanola, I heard rumors that they didn't have enough guys to put on to play.
yeah.
It's just nuts.
I remember a couple of years ago, this would probably be 2018-19. They were the last game in Powassan. And they had by far and away weren't making the playoffs. Like they were and this is back when like a 5th team would make it. Now the 5th team doesn't make it anymore. So they were already done, and they had the bare minimum because all the other kids had just were done by and they went home, and there was no bus or anything. Like everyone just came in their own cars because they were all going home after the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is junior hockey in Northern Ontario.
Wow. That is crazy.
And they had like these weird like red jerseys on that weren't. I've never seen them ever since. It was like I can't even describe to you what they were.
Wow.
But yeah, like it's like I wouldn't know what to do if I was like a team, or some of those Sudbury Wolves teams in your childhood that weren't very good. Like I wouldn't even know how to get up and go at the rink every day. Like we got 8 wins out of 58 games played. Like or whatever.
Personally, last season, I think my team won probably 4 games.
Oh,
all year.
yeah?
So I know what it's like. I think we won like 0-52 in league play.
Oh.
And we were an expansion U18 team. So so like we were not good. Yeah, we had a bunch of tough losses, but I think that actually really helped me in my career. Like if you let in a bad one, like it's not a big deal. Like it's not the end of the world.
Focus
right?
on the next.
Exactly.
Gets you lots of shots
Yeah,
too.
lots of shots. Oh my goodness, lots
You
of
probably
shots.
saw more rubber than the 401.
Oh yeah, I think I had like 1,300 shots in probably
Oh
like
my God.
20 games maybe.
That's Roberto Luongo
Oh, yeah.
numbers.
Like I literally averaged about 70 shots per minute or per 60
I was
minutes.
gonna say per minute. That's
No.
very impressive.
per 60 minutes. Like we consistently, I think one game we played edge, which my roommate Jackson Smith played on that team. Not when I was there. He's a little bit older than me, but we played edge and they were like #1 team in the nation, I think, ranked. And we got outshot like 90-10 probably. I was in for all 90. I only let in 9, which is
That's 90%.
exactly,
Like that's a good save
I did my
percentage.
job, right? But yeah, that's
Your goals against might not be great, but your save percentage is perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Like
it was fun. It's fun though, right? Because that's what you're on the ice for, to stop
Yeah.
the puck, and you're definitely making a lot of saves.
and if we look at last year too, I mean, because we were broadcasting U18 Trappers games all the time. I mean, your nickel caps weren't doing the hottest at times last year. We were good like when we played bad teams. As soon as we brutally honest here on the podcast, let's go.
Yeah, as soon as we played North Bay or U18 North Bay or we played the Sioux, it wasn't pretty. Does
Caleb or Russo hold that against you?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we didn't. I don't think we didn't beat them last year.
No.
Yeah, so like if we start reminiscing about minor hockey days, that'll get brought up.
Yeah, pretty quick, eh?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, because what was it, U16 year, you would have lost Tyson. Because you lost a lot of good, big guys.
Of good players. We lost Tyson, Newton. Viss went to Elliott Lake. Adam Tasuska, Matteo Signoretti left. Like we had a lot of guys leave. Maverick Fletcher went to the Sioux. Our other goalie quit. Like we had a lot of guys. If some guys came back, we would have been better. But yeah,
I still remember though when Chris was like, because he told us obviously because he was like, hey, we're looking at this guy from the nickel caps. You were the nickel sons, nickel caps, nickels. I don't know. Yeah. We talked about this earlier. There's way too many of them. Yeah. Anyways, he said we're looking at this guy. And I pulled you up and I was like, oh, I remember him from some of the games. I was like, well, that's the guy you want from that team. Not that I'm trying to pump your tires or anything, but I was like, because I remember watching whenever you guys would play against North Bay, I was like, man, this has got to be a tough year. Like
it was at times, like especially when, like we did good in the big nickel tournament. I think we made it to the quarterfinals and we lost to the team that made it to the finals. Some tournaments we went to, it was hard.
Yeah,
like we'd played good teams and it wouldn't be close sometimes.
Oh, that's brutal. So like when you know that, you're playing North Bay or last year you're going to face 90 shots, just kind of bring it back. Does that make it tougher going to the rink that day or is it, got to go and do my job?
I mean, definitely makes it tougher, obviously, right? You'd rather have like a good chance of winning, right?
Yeah.
But like it almost makes it, I don't know. Some days it's disheartening because you have like 3 games in a weekend and you lose all 3 bad, right? But like some days, like if you have that chance to win and you get that good mindset, it's really fun to get on the ice and give it a shot, right? Every time. So
I found that like when we played North Bay, I always found that like if I and the team play good, like if we play our best, like we can make it a competitive game. So like it was always like I was always happy to go to the rink, like happy to be playing, but like after the game, it was hard sometimes when we lost bad. Yeah, I think in the quarterfinals we lost 7-2 to them, maybe.
Oh,
yeah,
that's not. That's pretty. Yeah, that's got to be pretty rough to end the season like that. But then I mean, pretty quickly the Voodoos come calling and say, "Hey, we want you."
Yeah,
so that's got to boost it a little bit. So this year for you guys, I guess it's like a complete 180 then, like because you're on a team that's top 3 in the division right now. You're playing great hockey. Like that's got to feel good going to the rink every day, knowing you guys are a good team.
Oh yeah, like it's amazing going to practice every day, and like it feels good. You just feel like you just know you want to be at the rink, and you want to be on the ice all the time.
Yeah, and the guys definitely, I don't know, you can kind of feel the energy, right? Like we were in a slump for a while and the energy kind of dipped, right? But we're kind of back into it and you can feel it like every morning on the ice. Everyone's loving it on the ice and everyone's trying, competing, which is awesome.
It's great to see the competitiveness too, because it's like it's win. Like we need to win. And it's like if we lose a game, like we need to get back on the winning track.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone keeps themselves accountable. Most of all, like we like I think Litz had one talk with us this year after our loss to Timmins right before break, but overall, like we all kind of know what we have to do personally, and we all keep ourselves to that standard, right? And that standard's winning.
That's a pretty good standard. Yeah. Miles, I got to ask because we've had Ryan Patrick on, we've had Dylan McElhaney on.
Sure.
I don't know if they've kind of given you a heads up, but Ryan's been on twice now, and the first time he was on, I asked him, what's the big thing coming from the States to Canada when you play hockey? Like for you, what's the big thing? Like what's the big cultural difference between you and the guys when it comes to Canada and U.S. Relations?
I mean, I don't think there's that much, to be honest. Like we're all humans, right? So there's not that much difference. Like the hockey is definitely a little different. Like hockey in the States is kind of like, it's more like like
Worse.
trick. No. Sure, yeah, all right. But
I mean, not to help Miles out here, but who's the reigning world junior champs right now, right?
let's settle down there.
If only we got our NHL players back.
Where's your medal?
Yeah, okay.
It's 4th place, right? But yeah, no, I think it's more like trick hockey almost. Like I got to watch Centennial Cup in Portage last year, and it's really like it's all like grind kind of hockey. Dump it in, go get it out. Dump it in, go get it, score, right? But in the States, it's kind of just like skill. Like, I mean, you see with guys coming to the league like Zegras and like Cooley, they're all like skill guys, right? I mean, Cooley's pass last night, one-handed diving, that's
ridiculous.
That's crazy, but like I think that's the main difference is that it's not skill. Like Canadian players are skilled too, right? But it's kind of like the guts to try that stuff, right?
He was staring at you, pretty good producer Ben down there. Like, I mean, there's plenty of great Americans coming up in the NHL right now. Like, I think this is probably the best crop of NHL players that America has produced.
Sure.
Like,
yeah,
from Matthews on down, right? So, and as a Leafs fan, obviously, I'm pretty happy with Austin Matthews. I just don't like him in international play. Yeah. But again, then I can just always say, well, Connor McDavid, right? So,
well, I didn't say Canadian hockey players are bad.
No. But I mean, like, when I look at he's nodding his head down there. But no, I'm a big Matthews fan, so I love him. But it's kind of rough to say that my favorite hockey player is an American. But when it comes to lifestyle, how different is it?
I don't know. It's. I mean, there's some good food options down in the States. I think way better than here.
Yeah, you're probably right on that.
Think about the healthcare though.
Yeah.
The most generic Canadian shot back, but I love it.
Yeah, but
let's have a war, guys. Just go at it.
I mean, like,
I think we have a couple times.
Taxes. I'm not a big fan of taxes on lots of stuff, right? I don't have to pay that much.
Yeah, there's a lot here.
Go to the grocery store, paying $20 after taxes for a can of soda.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but
taxes very bad.
No, I'm a fan of the healthcare. To be honest, I think it's better. I think Canada's a better system overall. I don't know. Personally, I'm not that big of a fan of the States. To be honest, I mean, I've been living in Canada for 4 years now. So yeah, it's nice here.
When you first came here, what was your thoughts on bagged milk?
So actually, my first year I lived in BC, so they didn't have bag milk, and Manitoba they didn't really have it.
No, it's like an Ontario thing?
Yeah, so I came here. This is the first time I saw bag milk. I didn't know how to use it. My billets had to teach me, and they always were giving me crap about it. Like I don't put the bag in far enough, and I cut too big of a hole. I was like, what?
Oh yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah,
with
I know.
that.
But now I think I'm like a milk master now.
Yeah, you got it now.
Yeah, pretty good at it.
No, the gallon jug's much better. I will admit the jugs are much better.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know, Caden, are you bag milk or gallon jug guy?
I like bag milk.
Really?
I think I've just always used it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't really think I've ever had like a gallon.
No. Whenever I go and visit family in the States, I'm like, this is so much better.
Yeah.
Like so much better. That's the only thing I'll say though. No, I'm just kidding. Like Ryan Patrick's in here trying to convince me that it's called a dock and not a marina when you have a bunch of docks. Is a dock. It's like a marina.
I think it's marina.
Yeah. Thank you. Like his mom came up to me at one of the games and she's like, it is a dock, by the way. And I'm like, no, a bunch of docks is called a marina.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a marina.
Yeah. Like, and even McElhaney agreed with it too. Like,
I don't know. It depends maybe, but
it depends on what? What could it possibly depend on?
I don't know. Like if it's like one big dock with a bunch of little docks coming out, then I'd say that's just one dock.
Yeah, that's a dock, yeah.
But if it's like an organization of docks, like several docks coming out, kind of, then it's a marina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Ryan Patrick, you don't know what you're talking about, buddy. I always kind of throw him under the bus with that. But again, his mom came up to me at like one of the Voodoos games. She's like, nice to meet you and all this stuff. And you guys, great job with everything. But by the way, it's a dock. And I was like, oh, okay. Them fighting words. Like, let's go. I will argue with you right here in the stands in front of everyone.
It's a crazy debate, dock versus marina.
It's like when you listen to the podcast, what are you expecting? Oh, probably talk about hockey. Maybe if it's a dock versus a marina. No, like if you go to Average Joe's in the summer, that's a marina. There's a whole bunch of docks.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just one dock that has like a bunch off of it. I don't know. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's got like one lake in the city and it's round. It's Lake Ramsey, you know. Actually, Sudbury has a lot of lakes. I couldn't believe it when I was
Well, there's Long Lake too.
Yeah.
Some nice houses on that
there
lake.
is.
Oh.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that too. Just driving around, I spent way too much time in Sudbury visiting when she lived there. But those days are behind me, hopefully, and I don't ever have to go back. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Just Costco. I just miss Costco. I miss those. I miss the cheap stuff.
Yeah,
at
Costco. I don't like going to Costco, but I
just
like
like
the
the
price.
stuff at it,
I
yeah.
like the price of Costco.
Everything's bigger too.
Yeah,
Like you could get like cereal. You could get a bigger box of cereal for less than you can get at a normal grocery store.
and if you hit it up right, you can get all the free samples and stuff.
Oh yeah.
The free samples are great.
Yeah.
Like, I would go just for the free samples.
You'll never buy the product. You just want the free
it's
samples.
like, yeah, what's this? It was okay, I guess. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, they explain it to you. I'm like, I'm not buying this. I just came here for the food.
Put on a hat, go back for some more.
Yeah, pretty much. Put on fake mustache next and everything like that. Yeah, no, that's the thing I've always said. Excuse me, about Sudbury. Lifestyle wise, it's great. There's a lot to do in Sudbury. From a looks wise, not so great.
No, it looks bad. Our roads are really bad.
Are they ever?
really
I
bad.
know my
Oh,
my car agrees with you.
It's awful. And if you go downtown, it's not a sightseeing place.
No.
It looks really bad down there.
Yeah, it's the thing I really like though. So playing baseball, it's good because they have like the baseball academy there, so you can go and do indoor baseball activities all year round. It's not the biggest, but I mean it's better that North Bay doesn't have anything. But also the movie theater downtown or whatever, Imagine Cinemas or whatever.
Is that the one with like the comfy chairs?
Yeah, it's like electric,
that's
like
pretty cool.
you can like lazy boy and stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Those are dangerous.
Yeah,
because
they
you
are.
can fall asleep. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I prefer the uncomfortable ones.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
actually
You've
watch the
seen the
movie that I
movie?
paid for. Right?
See, but if it's a good movie, like you're gonna stay up, so it's worth it.
Yeah.
That is true.
So back in the summer, like I quite enjoy going to movie theaters. Like that's like my one thing that I'm like I got to do. So back in the summer, when like the whole Barbenheimer craze, like Barbie and Oppenheimer, she was in the process of dealing with the real estate stuff to sell her house and move here. And she's like, well, I got nothing to do, so you might as well just go to the, like, if you want to go to see the movie today, like that'll be what you do. So we had seen Barbie the night before because she wanted to go and all that stuff. And I honestly loved it. Barbie was
amazing.
great.
That was a good movie.
Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I went with my buddy from home, and like I went into it expecting like Barbie movie, you know,
Yeah.
but it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I was laughing so hard. Yeah,
Like the whole movie, I don't think I stopped laughing.
yeah, it was incredible.
It was really good.
Yeah,
Ryan Gosling was like,
Oh, my
Ryan
goodness.
Gosling stole the movie.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
thought
absolutely.
like
that's insane.
everything about him, and
It had like a better like story than you thought it
Yeah,
would. Like,
yeah.
like the deeper meaning was actually like
Yes.
really good.
So many underlying messages
Oh,
that
yeah.
I bet a lot of people didn't catch, but like
Yeah.
it's like because obviously Barbie movie target audience is like
Yeah.
5 years
Yeah,
old.
you
Yeah.
did not
But
expect
it
what
wasn't.
they did.
It was an adult movie.
yeah,
Oh,
so,
yeah.
and then like Will Ferrell was great in it
Oh,
too, like
yeah.
doing
Oh,
what
yeah.
he did and
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
Like, so we'd seen Barbie the night before. So the next day I was just like, well, I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet, so I went and saw that, and then. You know, she's like, well, you know, I'm going to be a few hours. So I saw Oppenheimer in the morning. Then I went back and watched like Mission Impossible, like back to back. Like, best day of my life.
yeah.
I kid you not. Because it was just the lazy boy chairs. Just, and so when I bought the tickets in advance, and Mission Impossible at the time, I was the only person in the row. And then like when I got in there was like people all through my row, and I was just like by myself, like next to all these people. So I like casually just went up to use the washroom like 20 minutes in and came back and went to a different spot. I was just like, no, I don't want to sit next to anyone. But are you guys like big cinephiles kind of thing? You guys like your movies a lot? I'm assuming so with Barbie. You like clearly love Barbie.
Yeah, I'm a big Marvel guy myself.
Yeah?
Oh,
so,
I am too. I love Marvel movies.
Yeah, I think I've watched all, like pretty much all, and most of the TV shows are not good anymore. Oh my god, Miss Marvel. Oh, that was my god.
I think like before I couldn't wait. Like I'd watch every episode as soon as it comes out. I can wait now.
Yeah,
like I can wait for all the episodes to come out and I'll just watch them.
They're falling apart. The TV shows at least, and their
Their movies
most
is-
recent movie I haven't even seen it yet.
Which
one was
the
that? It's
Marvels, right? Yeah.
It's the
Oh,
Marvels.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I haven't watched
I think
that
it's
either.
on Disney Plus.
It is.
It got out of theaters in like 2 weeks. Everyone hated it. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't good. Apparently, I haven't seen it, but
I remember going to see Endgame, and I remember my thought moving into that was like, I hope this doesn't give me a sense of closure because I still want to continue, right?
Right.
And it gave me the sense of closure. I was like, I don't really feel the need to move on with the story. And the next few, like, well, then COVID kind of helped, where it's like, oh, well, Black Widow, is it in theaters or is it not? You know, or is like, you know, Shang-Chi, is it in theaters or is it not? Right. So I kind of missed those ones. But I'd seen everyone up to that point. And then I watched WandaVision. I was like, that was okay. And then I watched, like, you know, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm like, that one's also okay. Yeah. But I don't want to have to watch a show to understand a movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I love Loki, though.
I haven't watched that yet, but I've heard it's really good. I've heard it's really good.
You need to
gotta
watch
watch
it to understand everything. Like and kind of the Marvel What If series, the animated one, that was also really good, and it kind of provides like a good backdrop to all the movies. And
so I watched the first season of that. I haven't gotten to season 2 yet.
I think it's good. I think it's cool, like see what if scenarios. And
well, it's neat too. Also, especially, I mean, I know a lot of people are tired of the multiverse stuff already, which we've haven't really scratched the surface of it yet. But I think it's neat that that's like their way of like introducing aspects of it, like being like, well, what if there were zombies or whatever, you know?
Yeah, that Doctor Strange movie was really good.
People hated it, and I enjoyed it.
I loved it.
It was awesome, I thought.
I thought they did a really good job with, like, you know, Scarlet Witch and how creepy she was and stuff and everything. Especially when she, like, just like straight up, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched her, like kills like Professor X like flat out.
Oh, yeah. She destroys that.
Yeah.
Destroys that whole like world. It was crazy.
Oh my god, Ben.
There's so much potential, like for the future movies. Like they could do so much with the multiverse. Like
the only thing, and I know that they keep saying that they're not going to do this, but the only thing I don't like about that is that, you know, at some point, like RDJ is going to be back as Tony Stark, and you know Chris Evans is going to be back as Captain America. Like it's the only thing that I'm kind of like, that's kind of chintzy, but
if they have the money, they'll be back.
Oh, 100%. I don't think they're going to be hurting for money anytime soon. Those two guys. Okay, so from the golden era of Marvel, or even up to now, I'll ask you guys, what's your favorite MCU film?
Oh, I'll let you go first. I got to think about this.
Pressure.
I always liked Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I like Spider-Man in general, and especially he has a huge role, and especially since that movie, he's been in like all the movies, and I just thought it was hilarious. So that's my favorite.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I think I just love the OG Avengers movie.
Yeah?
The first one.
Really?
I
wasn't a
movie.
fan.
No?
Really?
No, I wasn't a fan. I don't know.
That's such a weird movie to be like, I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
It kind of like started it all.
I thought it was just like normal. Like there wasn't anything special about it.
Well, the hype about it was the build up, right? Like, oh my God, how are they going to pull this off with like all these big guys, right? Yeah. So, producer Ben and I at the time worked at the movie theater here in town, and I saw that movie probably 6 times in theater because we got free tickets. So I probably saw it 6 times in theaters. So when a lot of people like sit here and be like, oh, Age of Ultron's like terrible, I actually prefer it to the first Avengers movie just because I've seen that movie so many times that I can like tell you like almost like per beat like what's going to happen. Whereas Age of Ultron to me still like, oh, I've only seen it a few times.
Yeah. I agree with that. I liked Age of Ultron.
People hate that movie too.
I thought it was awesome. The villain was cool.
Yeah.
They killed him off way too quickly.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, yeah.
Way too quickly. That was he could have been in a couple more movies.
Yeah.
That's
They could have
definitely
made a lot more money with
that's
them.
a huge Avengers level threat.
I also like I'm also a big fan of The Office, so I like James Spader a lot, like because he plays like Robert California in I don't know how well you guys know The Office, but he plays like a character in that for like one season, the guy who voices Ultron. Yeah. So, but if I had to pick an MCU movie, like gun to head, which one is the one that I have to watch is Civil War. I love Civil War.
Really?
That was
so
a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
I like Spider-Man in that. So
Spider-Man's really good in that though.
Civil War had a good story. Like I like the story.
The thing about that movie is it does a really good job of like riding that like that fence of like for 5 minutes you're on Tony's side, for 5 minutes you're on Cap's side, then you're back to Tony's side. Then like it does a really good job of showing both sides. But then at the end of the movie, when it's like what's revealed is revealed, I'm like, I'm sorry, Cap. I'm like Team Iron Man now. Like, there's no way. Like, that's just such a dick thing to do.
No other way. No other way.
No. So I'm Team Iron Man. But it's funny that you bring up Homecoming because with my girlfriend, I was like, well, we got to watch all the Spider-Man movies, like the Tobey Maguire, the Andrew Garfields, and so we went through them recently and watched them all. But the thing that's wild about it is I remember when No Way Home came out, everyone at the time was like, oh, well, all 3 Spider-Man are going to be in it, but they hadn't confirmed it,
right?
Because you saw all the villains. Yeah. So she had the opposite reaction. She knew, because she had never seen it up until this point, she knew that all 3 Spider-Men were in it, but she didn't know the villains were in it. It's like when Doc Ock shows up, she's like, what is going on?
Yeah, you really got to like know your Spider-Man to understand that
That's
movie.
why I was like straight up like, we're going to watch the Toby movies first and we're going to watch the Andrew Garfield ones.
Smart.
So she came out of it being like, Andrew Garfield's my favorite. So she's a big fan of Andrew Garfield.
I don't know.
I don't think I can answer that
really
question.
like I like Tom Holland.
I love Tom Holland. I think Tom Holland overall is the best. Yeah. Like, he's really well-rounded, but there's like a lot about Tobey Maguire I really like, and there's a lot about Andrew Garfield I really like.
I also like, honestly, Tobey, he's my last.
Yeah?
His last place. Yeah.
Really?
I love that with Electro. Was it Spider-Man 2?
Yeah.
Oh, that movie.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
So sad. I think it was the first movie that made me cry because he was so sad. He was having such a bad birthday, and then he just fell into deals. Like, can his day get any worse?
Yeah.
Like, I felt so sad. And then he was just trying to get Spider-Man to help him, and he was like, and he just
ruins him at Times Square.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
They never really explained how he looks like normal Jamie Foxx.
Exactly. Like, it's so weird.
Okay, on the flip side then, guys, what's your least favorite MCU movie? Like, if you're having an MCU, like, start from like timeline order, you're like, I don't want to watch that one.
Hulk wasn't that good. Yeah. The first Hulk.
Yeah.
But like, if we go new actors, I think I have to say Ant-Man.
You didn't like Ant-Man.
I like
the first Ant-Man?
Yeah, the first one. Like, I liked it, but it was just, I found it boring.
There's parts of that movie where I'm in tears though, like when like Thomas gets
that's true.
House, or, like, the ant like running down the stairs is all giant and stuff, and the guy's just like, what?
I really liked Ant-Man. I kind of like the guys with like the cool power, not cool powers, but like
the off brand ones.
Yeah, like not just like shooting arrows. Like, it's just stupid. Like,
wow, Hawkeye catching strays in this episode.
I'm assuming you didn't like the Hawkeye show.
No, definitely not. Actually, I don't know. I didn't mind it.
I had a good story. I had a good story.
Like, for having no powers. Like,
if we're gonna talk about sad things, I feel bad for him at the beginning of Endgame when it shows like his whole family just disappear when he's not looking.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because like it's one thing to like watch them disintegrate in front of your eyes, but to like turn around and then they're not there, like
not know where anyone is.
Like, at first I would think they just abandoned me. I'd be like, whoa, what the heck? Like, but yeah, no, guys just over here making fun of Hawkeye. Like,
my bad.
No, it's okay.
He's gonna come for me.
I mean, he'll get you from across the parking lot. That's the thing.
I'll probably have to drive here. You got no powers to get here.
That's true. You can keep going north.
Yeah, maybe I'll get like a arrow-proof shield. So he can't get me. He's just a normal dude. Maybe a little bit stronger, but
that's the other thing too. Is like last year I found out that again the girlfriend there had yet to see. She had watched Infinity War, but she had never seen Endgame.
Oh, really?
I was like, well, that needs to change. Like she's like, it was so sad. They all die at the end. I'm like, so you never went to find out what the conclusion was? You just left it on that. Like, everyone's dead. Like,
I remember when I was in the theater watching that. Like I think I went pretty early, so everyone stayed till like the very end, like the second credit scene. Right?
Yeah,
because it was such a cliffhanger,
and it's just Nick Fury like trying to get Captain Marvel.
Yeah, like it doesn't. It was actually really anticlimactic.
Yeah. I mean, it got a cheap laugh where he was like starting to say "mother" and then it cuts off. But like, I was like, come on, now we got to wait another year. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
But yeah, that stuff's brutal. But I love just back to Civil War. We're talking about Spider-Man because I'm a big Star Wars fan. I love it when Ant-Man becomes Giant Man. He's like, hey guys, you ever see that old movie Star Wars? And he's like trying to take him down. Yeah. Oh man, those are so good. But like the other thing too that I saw recently now is that they're saying like this podcast is going to be completely hijacked by the MCU. They're saying like because of Secret Invasion that like Rhodey or whatever, like War Machine, wasn't him since Civil War, so now he wasn't on Earth like when Tony dies and all this stuff. It's like, well, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Like, guy's like his best buddy, and he's like,
that was a good story. Like they had a good story there with that. And I don't like that.
no, what like. And there's like certain things too. Like I kind of want to see what they do with the guy who was Captain America, but not really Captain America, and like Falcon. I can't even remember his name now.
It's
Agent something. He becomes Agent something or whatever.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why they just killed Cap off like that.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. The new Cap is kind of lame. Guy doesn't even have a full shield. Like,
No.
It's kind of tough.
Oh well, it is what it is. So outside of the MCU, if you guys had to be like one movie to keep, what movie would you guys keep?
I gotta think now.
like one movie, any
One movie for the rest of your life.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's good.
I bet when you guys walked in here today, that was the last thing your thing was going to be asked.
I was prepared for everything but that question.
Yeah. Did the homework and everything, and now he's coming in here asking about movies.
Can you start us off so we got some time to think?
All right. I would take, like, you want to know what I would take?
Yeah.
So I'm a big, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie, big fan of, well, it's another Chris Evans movie, Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Oh, that's a good movie.
That
is a very good movie.
Yeah, that's my, like, favorite movie, like, go-to favorite movie.
I haven't watched that in a while.
It's so good. And now they have, like, an animated series of it on Netflix, too, where they've, like, done it, like, close to the comics. But that's, like, the not series, like, standalone movie that I'm like, that's the movie. If we're talking, like, a series, Lord of the Rings all day.
Sure.
But like movie, like standalone movie, I gotta go with Scott Pilgrim.
I think maybe Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I really like that movie. That yours kind of reminded me of that, but I thought it was entertaining and it's iconic, right? So you can't go wrong.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So good. I love that movie.
I love Adam Sandler movies. I think I have to go with Click.
Click, yeah.
I love that movie.
That movie's depressing at the end, though.
Oh, it's so sad, but I find it's funny. It's sad. Like I find it's like a perfect movie. I could watch that all day long.
Well, now that we brought down the mood, thanks, Caden. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, I'm not disrespecting your choices. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, great. Click is a good movie. I agree. It's just really sad at the end. Really.
Yeah, it is. It gets really sad.
I remember. Speaking of Adam Sandler, I remember going with my cousin once to go see Funny People when that came out.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Well, let me tell you, it's not very funny for a movie called Funny People. So I just remember being like, well, that wasn't that great. Because it's like everyone's like dying in that movie. And it's like he's like a comedian who's like dying or something. And there's like one or two good jokes. And then Seth Rogen's not very funny in it either. And I'm just like, these are really funny people that are being very funny.
Interesting. And
I remember that was probably the first movie I went to a movie theater and I was like, I can't believe I spent money on that.
Yeah.
And I've seen some really bad movies. Like Transformers 4, the first one with Mark Wahlberg. I remember using a free pass on that and I was like, and I regretted using a free pass on that.
One movie I recently saw that was probably the worst movie I've seen, like for a big ticket office, was Aquaman.
Oh yeah, like just before Christmas.
It was unbearable for the first 30 minutes. It picked up, but like it was like Hallmark produced it for the first 30 minutes. Like it was crazy bad. Like they were like big ticket actors and they looked like they were like in a 10th grade acting class.
Oh,
like
boy.
it was not good.
Especially like with a guy like Jason Momoa and stuff. Like, come on.
Yeah, it was not good.
No. And that's like the movie that was like the end of like the Schneiderverse or whatever, right? So it was like way to go with like a whimper.
Yeah, so bad. It did pick up at the end, but
yeah, but you're not the first person I've heard say it's bad.
It's like the first 30 minutes. Like I went with my mom and I like looked at her and I was like,
do we want to stay here? Like, do we want to go?
I was like, this is really bad.
It's just so boring.
Oh yeah, it's so boring, and they're like they say lines that they're gonna say before because it's so scripted.
Yeah. That's a shame. Not that it was bad, but the weirdest experience I had recently doing that was I went and saw. My mom really likes the Hunger Games, so when they came out with the prequel recently, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes or whatever,
I haven't watched that yet.
I enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed
Really?
it. Yeah, and I remember going into that I was going to see that, and then I was like, oh, Napoleon comes out next week, and I'm really excited to see that.
Sure.
So I went and saw Hunger Games for her birthday, and it was good. And I really enjoyed it. And then I went and saw Napoleon. I was more excited for that. I enjoyed Hunger Games a lot more than I enjoyed Napoleon. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And not to say Napoleon was bad. It was just really slow for a movie about a war genius.
I mean,
I
love the Hunger Games. Like I read the books first. I used to be a big book guy, so like I read all the Harry Potter books first.
Oh, yeah.
And I love the Hunger Games concept. But honestly, I think the first movie was the best. Easily.
Oh, easily.
Like it's not even.
No, I like
discussion.
Catching Fire.
Really?
Almost, yeah.
Really?
Which is weird because I remember I hadn't read them, and then everyone was losing their minds about the movies coming out. They're like, these are like the next thing, right? So I saw the first Hunger Games movie, and I was like, like it wasn't as good as the hype was like, building it up to be. So then, and then the next year when Catching Fire came out, I was like, okay, that's more up my alley. Like it is pretty much the same thing.
I just don't like the like. As soon as they got away from like the actual games, I didn't really
like Mockingbird and all.
Yeah,
that.
like
or Mockingjay. Sorry.
Yeah, even at the end of like Catching Fire, it's kind of just like it's kind of like I don't know, like that's not what I signed up for.
Yeah,
like,
I want more kids killing kids.
Yeah, exactly. like let's get a little dark here. Like, it's not entertaining. Oh my god, they're saving the world. What? Like,
we don't need that. President Snow's good.
Exactly.
Kids keep killing kids.
Yeah, exactly.
The weird thing though was I went back and rewatched them like during the pandemic for the first time since they'd been in theaters, and I rewatched them. I was like, these are actually really good though. Like,
they were good.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoyed them. But yeah, so also recently, last thing I'll say to you guys before we end up wrapping this up, but back to debates, because that seems to be what we're good for here on the podcast. We've had a recent debate about like best fast food fries.
Yeah.
And McDonald's seems to be winning out. Which ones would you guys go with?
I'm not a big fry guy.
No? Okay, well, not being a big fry, you still have to choose one. I'm sorry, Miles. You're not getting off that easily.
I don't know. Are we going Canadian?
Yes, Canadian.
Because like you can't go wrong with a Chick-fil-A waffle fry.
No,
See, I never had Chick-fil-A.
You got to try it. Like they're really good.
Those are good. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Wow,
I
turncoat.
thought you were gonna say like In-N-Out or something.
Oh no, nothing crazy like that. But like the Chick-fil-A waffle fry, just because it's like it's not a normal fry, you know. But
yeah,
if going off like the straight normal fries, I mean, I think it's McDonald's.
Yeah,
I think you gotta like it depends though. Right, it depends on the worker you get, how much they salt it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It depends on the batch.
Yeah, you
like,
get guys who don't care making it and stuff.
You can have some really bad batch of McDonald's fries, and then one like really good one that'll just like change your life. So,
and for you, Caden, I know you love being put on the spot like this.
I think. Yeah, I gotta go with Wendy's.
Yeah,
Wendy's?
I knew you were gonna go Wendy's. This
like
guy
Wendy's.
loves Baconators. It's
That's
like,
fair.
Yeah.
It's funny because a lot of people I know are like Wendy's is easily actually the guy who does play-by-play for the Cubs like straight up commented on her post. He's like, no, Wendy's is the worst.
You have to fight them, Tubi.
Yeah, I think I do. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Walk up the stands in like full gear and just go at them.
Well, you guys were talking about A&W fries.
That's a Harrison thing. He loves those A&W fries.
I can't stand A&W fries.
No?
Like if I go to A&W, I'll get onion rings.
Yeah.
I can't eat A&W fries.
No, see, I haven't given them the chance since apparently they changed.
It changed.
Apparently they've changed.
They're so irrelevant. Man.
I know, right? Like,
yeah. I would have thought I would have seen something online about that or something.
No, yeah, apparently the fries have changed and now they're good. I can't confirm nor deny because I'm not willing to give them my money for that. So their burgers are good. But
my first poutine when I came to Canada was A&W.
Really?
Yeah.
Of all places.
I was driving through the BC mountains and my dad was like, "You want to get one?" I was like, "Sure," from A&W. I mean,
that's the way to do it wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't bad, but like, it wasn't good.
No, you got to go to like a chip stand in the summer.
Yeah,
like that's the way to do it.
Definitely.
Go to a chip stand.
Definitely.
But yeah, no, my cousin's boyfriend had never been up here before they started seeing each other, because they come up every year from Columbus, and he had like his first like chip stand like poutine, and now he'll go back to work down there and he'll like buy fries and gravy and curds at like, buy it at a grocery store or whatever, and his coworkers are like, "What the hell are you doing, man?" He's like, "It's the greatest thing in the world, trust me." Like, he's like addicted to it. So whenever I get a poutine or something that's like extra good, I'll take a picture and send it to him. He's like, "Why do you do this to me?" Like, I'm like, "Oh, just next time you're up here, you gotta try this." But yeah, no, I don't know. A&W, just I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it.
No way. Yeah, no, I can't.
So. But anyways, gentlemen, I do really appreciate you guys coming in this week, Miles and Caden. Thanks so much. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Barry! Huh? I told you not to be scaring the customers.
Hey, Barry! Come on in for a bite. And bring Brianna with you.
For only 2 minutes up the hill, where you're only a stranger once.
Ready to embark on an electrifying adventure? Look no further than the Mitsubishi Outlander, available in gas or PHEV, the SUV that redefines excellence. Recently awarded the best midsize utility vehicle in Canada for 2023 by AJAC. This bold and sophisticated SUV delivers advanced performance, safety, and tech, plus peace of mind with its standard super all-wheel control and the best warranty in the business. With red-hot deals and plenty in stock, your award-winning drive starts with the Mitsubishi Outlander.
Why is Northern Honda servicing more cars of all makes and models? Let's count the ways. 1. Our state-of-the-art facility has award-winning technicians. 2. Northern Honda has the lowest tire price guarantee, no matter what you drive. 3. The lowest synthetic oil change guarantee, and every 5th oil change is free for all makes and models. Plus, new Honda buyers get brake pads for life. See the service difference at Northern Honda, 1250 Seymour beside Home Depot.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
And we welcome you to another edition of the Frontline podcast right here on the North Bay Echo Podcast Network, the official podcast of your Powassan Voodoos. And we have a couple of Powassan Voodoos on this week. I'm Kortney Kenny, pleased to be joined by Harrison from the Garrison, Harrison Clements. Harrison, welcome back for a second week in a row. Good to have you. Nice hoodie you got as well.
Thank you. A shout out to our friends at Sorcerer Sports North Bay. And I'm not fired yet.
No, you aren't. You also, are you wearing the golf shirt underneath?
Yes.
I don't have a golf shirt yet.
I can't unzip it. It's there. It's there. You'll have to trust me.
It matches the toque a little bit.
Yeah, that was intentional.
I was going to say, was that better? Well, it's funny because it's maroon, and we were talking about the Pete's earlier this year, and I was like, man, I really don't like maroon.
These are nice golf shirts, though.
They are nice golf shirts. 100% there. I'll take them. But Harrison, we got an action-packed episode this week with Miles Gordon and Caden Dubreuil from the Powassan Voodoos, and we're going to finally see some Powassan Voodoos action this weekend. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, it's been, a couple of weeks now, which is way longer than we were expecting. I know we looked at the schedule and was like, oh, wow, I guess we got a bit of a gap here, but we got an intense back-to-back Espanola on Friday, and then the Cubs on Saturday, so that's sure to be entertaining whenever those two teams are in town, especially that close, and especially after they 5-0'd Espanola in their last game. So,
yeah, we'll get into a little bit of a breakdown of the Voodoos' most recent games, and we also have to talk about the battalion as well with the breakdown there on a couple of things, and we also have a breakdown of it'll be a preview, I guess, of a video that'll be coming out soon enough of more shootout action of our floor hockey escapades at the YMCA here in town.
Yeah, not nearly as good a showing from me, but we'll roast that later.
I still didn't score on you in the shootout.
Yeah, but you won in another way.
Yep, that's true. And I am not going to let you forget that.
Nope.
I don't think even your own teammates are going to let you forget that.
They did. I had no chance of forgetting in the moment, which is a rarity. But
all right, with that being said, we'll cut to a quick break here, and we'll hear from Caden Dubreuil and Miles Gordon on the other side of this. And a huge thank you to Caden Dubreuil and Miles Gordon for joining us here on this edition of the Frontline podcast. Kortney Kenny with Harrison Clements. Harrison from the Garrison, of course, if you're looking for him on social media. Well, it's the Garrison on social media, but...
yeah, and mostly just on Frontline stuff. Garrison is basically exclusively trashing the OHL weekly rankings and the Ice Dogs, which bit me in the butt in the past week.
Yep.
But,
did you catch any flack on that on social media?
No, no one cares enough. But
the video that you made for the after action report was so good.
Oh yeah, I woke up that morning and I was like, all right, I gotta post something to let people know that we're doing the after action report. And I was like, well, I try and tailor those videos to whatever's playing. The Generals were in town, so I did like an oldie timey firing line, and Mississauga fish obviously go to. So I was just like, Niagara Falls. What falls? The Ice Dog Falls. But no, it was the battalion in that one. So that didn't turn out so well.
Nope, it definitely did not. And you know what? I went to Niagara Falls this past summer. That was a good little summer getaway for a couple of days, but expensive. Niagara Falls is expensive.
It's so expensive. It's fun for as you said, 3 days, and then after that, you're like, why am I still here? This is kind of sad.
I will say though, they have a power plant that's decommissioned, obviously, and you can go down the tunnel and stuff and go right to the base of the falls. That's really cool.
Oh, okay, yeah. They have that whole walkthrough, and then you come out right at the base there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been there. I think I was a kid, but I always enjoy going on the Maid of the Mist.
Yeah.
I liked seeing the IMAX stuff. That was always fun to me. And my sisters were like, what's all this history crap? I'm like, this is exciting. People were in barrels.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I've always liked it. Last time I was there, I was in grade 8, and I had to help my friend on a mystery to find his wallet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we didn't find it. We were very bad detectives. That's why I went to school for arts.
That's fair. That's a fair reason to do that. We went on the Maid of the Mist this year. I'd been before, but Topanga had not, so she really wanted to go, so we really went and had a good time. But it was weird because we went on the tunnel. That was what I really wanted to do, was do the tunnel, because I was new. That's 3 years old maybe.
Oh, okay.
And standing at the base, I was told go. I think it opens at 9. Someone said go right for 9 because no one's ever there that early, and they were right. There was hardly anybody there. At one point, we were the only people. They have a guy standing at the door of where the tunnel starts, when you're on the base, looking at the falls. And at one point, it was the two of us and him. That was it. There was nobody crowding to the edge or anything, and you didn't really catch any mist either. It was kind of weird. Because they have ponchos there for you to just grab and all this stuff, but there was no mist or anything. And then of course we went on the Maid of the Mist and got soaked, and then we did the whole. We spent that was our one full day in Niagara Falls. We had gotten there the day before from Ottawa because we were silly and went to Ottawa first and then went to Niagara Falls. But that was our one full day in Niagara Falls, and then that night or we were really tired, went back to the hotel room, caught a quick nap, woke up and it's pouring, and we're like, well, we want to do Clifton Hill and we want to do like the go-karts and stuff. And so it stopped raining enough for us to do that. And then we went and had dinner, and this is like getting close to like midnight. And then it was like pouring rain. Our hotel was across the street, and we just had to like walk up a little bit into like the parking lot to get into the hotel. And we were like just absolutely soaked to the bone of how hard it was raining from when we left the restaurant to that. It was wild.
Yeah, it kind of sucks going to a place that's just like, all right, this is ideal sunny. You go to the Maid of the Mist.
Yeah.
That's your chance to get soaked. Or you go to like the water park, the Falls View one there.
Yeah.
That's where I went to a bunch of times as a kid. And man, I love that water park. I don't know if I want to go now. I'm not really a water park guy, but I remember as a kid, I was just like, this place is massive. I love this. But yeah, it's been a while since I've been there, but I always enjoyed my time in Niagara.
Yeah. Just terrible hockey team just up the road in St. Catharines.
Well, they can't be too bad.
That's true.
It pains me to say it. I was in pain the entire time watching that game. But,
yeah, pretty rough, eh?
Yeah.
But before we get into dissecting that game, along with a couple, well, again, I always say briefly go over it because the after action report really dissects it in the moment. We'll talk about Saturday, which was, I mean, among many things, it was January 20th, but it was Harrison from the Garrison's nightmare day in net in floor hockey.
Oh, yeah. Harry has a very, very, very bad day. I've never been more deserving of a soundbite. But yeah, it was our second time doing ball hockey, is celebrating, most importantly, Kortney's birthday, which was very fun.
I'm too old now. Thanks, Ben. I appreciate that. I'm old.
Yeah, we had a bunch of the crew out. That was a lot of fun. We get there and just like, all right, who's going to be in net? And I was like, well, I did okay last time. Let's try this again.
Yeah.
That's always bad to go into a game with that sort of confidence, especially never really playing net in my life. And the only other time before the previous we played ball hockey was when I was probably 9 or 10 in house league and my sister scored on me. And I was keeping notes at that time because I was like, there's obviously no stats. It's freaking house league. And the only note beside that game was really bad. Sister scored on me. And that was it. And it probably taken that more into consideration before hopping in net this time. But yeah, things did not go well for me.
No, like right off the hop, Matt's brother Danny, first shot of the game, running it. And that was after, like, I mean, we're going to sit here and be like, oh, zone pressure and stuff. There's no real zone pressure because there's no real like offside or onside or whatever. Anyways, so you had Ben and you had Brad Brooks and you had, who else was on that
to
team?
start?
It was Topanga.
Yep, Topanga.
And Linden. Which was
yes.
a pretty good lineup. So we had myself, Cassie, Matt's brother Danny, and Matt's son Jason, who scored an absolute beauty of a goal the next day at the battalion game for the Timbits game. But anyways, Danny just takes the ball and just walks in and just wires it far side on you right at the, like, on the floor.
Yep. Just nothing. I didn't see it. I was just like, oh, I'm way out of position, and that's in the net. And it would not be the last time I was out of position.
And then Chris threw a couple from across the gym at you, went in the net. Yep. I stood, although to be fair, one of them I stood in front of you and it went in the net, so you didn't see that one.
Yeah. Half of the time it was just like, hey, Harrison, just stand in front of the net and you'll stop the thing. But I tried to stick it and it just whoop. And yeah, it was really bad. And then, of course, to end game one, we'll call it, I just popped one right out. Ben's like, no, leave it. And I'm just like, nah, I'm going to poke it. And then it went right to you. And I was like, oh no. And then the game was over.
What was your mindset when that ball went right to me on my, it was like perfectly placed too. Like it didn't bounce. It was right on the blade of my stick.
It was in this moment he knew he messed up. And it was just like, oh, okay, I deserve that. I deserve all of that. That's what that feels like. That's awful. Okay.
Oh man, that's like the one moment that's gonna be my crowning moment of 2024.
Yeah,
it's all downhill from here.
Yep, boy, it's January.
I know.
Oh no. Oh no. I was looking forward to this year, Kortney. Come on, man.
No, it's all downhill for me from here.
Yeah, and then the second game, it started off a bit more evenly. It took a while for the first couple goals to go in, and then sure enough, two right over the stick from far, and it was all over. Then you had a nice 1-2 setup from beside the net. toss to Lyndon, and he buries it for the game-winning goal there. So
you know what? I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I'm going to. That was a no-look pass too to Lyndon. I just knew he was over there.
yeah, it was good. It was good.
Not for you, apparently.
No, nothing about that day was good for me. I did a little bit better in the shootout, which I will be getting to editing soon, on top of other things. But
I thought for whatever reason, because she shot it, that Cassie had it, so I actually messaged her the other day, being like, "Hey, can you send me those shootout videos?" She's like, "Harrison has them." I was like, "Oh, that's right."
yeah, I got her to film it on my phone because they looked like they were shot on a Polaroid from the 80s last time. That's just Facebook compression is what it is. But I was just like, okay, I got a pretty good phone, so I'll be editing that together. I'll try and put that up on our socials, and I shot it wide, so I can also get that up on our YouTube as well.
I'm pretty excited to see it. Although, spoiler alert, I do not score once again.
And no, but you beat me in another way.
The second time, it's not on film, but I went and did the Sheldon Surrey fake slap shot and then tried to, but you just stayed with me the whole time. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, well, I have to shoot it eventually. And he's just staying with me. Like,
no, we got that one on film, actually.
Oh, is it actually?
Cassie got that one. It was the last two, I think Brad's second attempt and someone else after that. But yeah, we got most of that on film. So
and then with Matt's, with Jason scoring the next day, I was like, I like to think that some of that has to do with floor hockey.
Yeah. All those morning practices, all the equipment, all of that. Matt, come on, playing with the Frontline guys. That's what did it. And then even Matt afterwards was just like, hey, I think I've seen that move before, and refers to himself in our first shootout video, which again is on our socials. So check that out if you haven't. But yeah, Jason basically does the exact same move.
Yeah.
And it's a really nice goal.
If you want to see producer Ben Sargent in that's the video to watch.
And that is.
It's so good too. The whole, what will Ben do
against a child?
Against a child.
Will he let him score? Diving poke check. Absolutely brick wall him. Just stand solid, just like a menacing tower. And then,
no, it was against Matt's son.
Yeah, it's
against
there.
Matt's son.
It was against both of them.
Well, yeah, but Matt beat you.
Yeah, Matt beat
Jason
you.
didn't.
Jason just takes his time, shoots the puck, then just knock it away, and he just like walks away, and just like, oh, okay.
He's a trooper though. Like, he's really good. Mm-hmm. But he's also a trooper because Cassie like tried to fire it towards you, smacked him in the face with the tennis ball.
Yeah, just point blank, and then he just tanks it, and Cassie's the one who goes down out of embarrassment.
Yeah, like she was so like, oh my god, I just killed the kid.
Yeah,
and then he's just running off, and then he duped me really good because almost like 2 minutes, like not even 2 minutes later, he's like right in front of the net, and I took a shot. He blocks it with his chest. And he like looked stunned for a second. So I went up to him. I was like, "Hey man, you good?" And he like shook his head yes, and then like got around me. And I was just like, I was trying to check in on you, man. Like,
play to the whistle.
Yeah, play to the whistle. But here I am. Like, it's like he's like a 6-year-old, 7-year-old kid. I just smoked him in the chest with a shot. And it wasn't like a weak shot either. Like, the ball was whipping around pretty good that day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why it got past me.
Yeah, that's the reason, Harrison?
Yeah.
Your save percentage that day was not looking
My
great.
save percentage was no. It wasn't even numbers. It was just no.
But to be fair, so there was like the first game we were up like 4-1 at one point, and then your guys came back tied at 4-4 before your wonderful gaff.
Great.
And then in the second game we were once again like up 4-1, and then your guys came back to tie it, and then the literally perfectly placed pass from assist king over here on you to Lyndon.
Yeah. Hey, Harrison, come on the front line. It'll be fun. Let's roast you for half an hour to start the episode. No, it's good. Brad had some absolute snipes from like half court, and Matt was just like, oh, I should have had those. But
Matt was like beating himself up a lot, and I was like, no, man, for somebody who hasn't played goals since like you were like 5, you did pretty good.
He was really solid.
Yeah. And it was funny because before the game, I was going to say, oh, hey, Adrian Beltre, Joe Mallor, and Todd Helton making it to the Baseball Hall of Fame. You heard it here first on the front line, not on your phone that you probably just got it on. Or the 3-2 count. But anyways, I Matt and like warm up when you were still getting the equipment on, Matt was like letting in like really softies, like as we were like shooting on him. And I was just thinking to myself, like, man, I hope I don't get on his team. And then like, as they like, you know, you do the thing where you throw the sticks in the middle and then everyone throws it each way. And then next thing I know, I'm on Matt's team. And I was just remember going into that game being like, well, this is how this is going to end. And then immediately Danny just turns the tide in our favor. Like,
yeah. Well, I immediately get in net for warm up and Ben bags me right away. And I'm just, that should have been all the omen I needed for how the day was going to go. Just like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. My favorite thing was Chris gave you that goalie jersey that was like the biggest thing ever. For anyone who wants to know for a comparison, go check out Austin Powers and Goldmember at the end of the movie where a fat bastard shows up where he's like got all like the loose skin. That's basically what it was for Harrison, this jersey, how big it was. So like I remember two shots I got on you that you saved with the armpit of the jersey that was literally should have gone through the jersey and it didn't.
It's the most useful anything in an Atlanta Flames jersey has ever been.
That's amazing.
I lasted longer in net than that franchise did in Atlanta.
Oh, both franchises.
Okay, yeah, all right. Anyway,
that's funny. But yeah, no, and you know what? Huge thanks to Chris too. He got me a great bucket to wear that day, and
the Sweden stuff is so good.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I wasn't expecting it either. I just showed up. He's like, "Here you go."
Yeah, and the joy you had when you put that on, it was like, yeah,
Jofa helmet and everything. Like that's the only thing I need to say is it was a Jofa helmet. Like you know immediately what helmet I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
like. But like that was earlier that day, I was like, oh, I forgot my hockey. Like I was gonna wear like a Leafs jersey that day. I was like, I forgot it at home. And like my parents said I was at Topanga. I know, and it's the Leafs, so it kind of sucks. So, but I left it at home, so I was like, oh, I gotta drive back to my parents. And then I looked at the time. I said, I don't have time. I gotta go pick up Harrison, and we gotta get going to the Y here. So then I went with. I was just like, whatever. I'm just gonna wear my Leafs T-shirt that I have on. And the next thing, Chris was like, oh, here you go. Here's your Swedish jersey.
Yep.
And I was like, beauty.
It looks so nice.
I'm not Swedish, but I'll take it. Like
Swedish, but that day you guys definitely had Finnish.
Yeah.
The reverse of the phrase.
Yep. Yeah, Chris and I were like twins that day. I don't even know what the backstory was. He had like a whole thing in his head. Like,
yeah, it was really, he has his own mythology.
Yeah, that
when
guy.
it comes to just like made up sports characters, and they're all Swedish.
Well, no, one of them, Tuukka
right.
Backup is Finnish.
That's true.
So Tuukka Backup's great.
We haven't seen him yet at one of these.
We have. Well, he was in net, but he wasn't wearing the Finnish jersey.
No, he was wearing his Stars.
Yeah,
his Star sweater. Yeah.
Tuukka Backup Stars jersey. Anyways, we'll move on from floor hockey and we'll talk a little bit about the battalion. Starting off last week, Mr. Stan Butler coming back to town as the battalion took down the Erie Otters 4-3. Owen Van Steensel getting the first goal of the game, and that one is 20th of the season, assisted by Anthony Romani. Pano Femus tying things up shortly thereafter. Sandis the Vilmanis with his 12th of the season. Going ahead now, and then Jacob Therrien is 14th of the season, followed by Andrew LeBlanc on a very pretty goal by Andrew LeBlanc there. And that was all the scoring the battalion needed as the Otters slowly tried to mount and comeback, but it came up a goal too short. That was Sam Alfano with his 14th, and then Dylan Edwards with his 8th. Overall, Harrison, the battalion with the big 2 points there, and their first win, and Stan Butler's first loss against his former club.
Yeah, and it's definitely one you want to pick up, especially with that record there. Sandis, I believe that was his first goal in a battalion jersey.
Second, he scored one against the Sioux.
Oh, right, yeah. And yeah, picking up 3 points, like all the pickups that they've gotten at the trade deadline have been just absolutely fantastic so far. They're all playing with really good speed. They're really good physically so far. And the way that they can either put in the net or set up really dynamic plays has been super impressive so far, and it definitely showed in this game too.
Yeah, great game for sure. I don't sound like Ben Long. Yeah.
Yep. Wow. What a goal.
Corbeil native Ben Gaudreau also coming up big in what could possibly be his last game in Major Junior here at home against the battalion. So big game for Benny, unfortunately coming out on the losing side, but he's won games here before. And also a neat little stat that Chris Dawson gave to me for my article was that one of the last times, because of course being drafted by Sarnia, then COVID, having a whole season where it was just East versus East and then West versus West in the regular season. He didn't have many chances to come to North Bay and play. So one of his last times on Memorial Gardens ice was he was being crowned a Great North U18 League champion in that game in a season in which he went 20-0 as a goalie.
That's ridiculous.
And his tandem mate was Reese Prue, who was also drafted by the North Bay Battalion. So that team was pretty ridiculous in goal. Ben Gaudreau going in the top 10 that OHL priority selection as well. So that just tells you all you need to know about the goaltender.
Yeah, and he was traded to the Otters at the beginning of this season. And I'll say this without blinking an eye, this dude has hugely been a factor why they've been better than we expected them to be a bottom tier team like they were last year, but they've been right in there, not towards the top, but they've been unexpectedly good, especially on the back of him. And the week before, he had just an unreal, it might be the save of the year, just open cage, and he just flashes the leather, and I forget who he robs, but it's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, he's fun to watch. I always liked his goalie setup when he was in Sarnia. He, unfortunately it didn't work out for him with Team Canada last year. Of course, he got a medal, but he didn't have a good showing in his first game over there. And then also bet on himself a bit last year going into the draft too, that the San Jose Sharks hadn't signed him, so he figured that he would go back in the draft, and unfortunately it didn't work out. He's still going to have a professional career, I would say, though, with the numbers he's put up in the OHL, with how he's played, and obviously someone thought it highly enough of him to draft him, so you got to think that he'll have a professional career for sure. But moving on to the next one, the Battalion, the very next day playing the Mississauga Steelheads. It's a identical game, 4-3 over the Steelheads, in a game in which the Battalion coming up with a big 2 points against their rival, the Steelheads. Dallin Wakely with his 20th. So now that line, all three of them, Wakely, OV, and Van Steensel, all over 20 goals. Wakely also first player to get 3 straight 20-goal seasons since Justin Brazo. Although Justin Brazo had 27, then 36, and then 62 or something like that. Ridiculous. Anthony Romani getting his 36th of the season. Dallin Wakely with his 21st, getting a multi-goal game. Luke Misa cutting into the lead, followed by Angus McDonnell with his 15th, and then Porter Martone with his 29th, tying things up late in the third. That's with less than a minute left on the clock. And then Ethan Procession, who's since left the team to go to the CHL Top Prospects games, got the game-winning goal in overtime, his 10th of the season at the 3:55 mark in overtime. Always a big game when you play a divisional rival, Harrison, but even better when you take 2 points away from them.
Absolutely. And Mississauga came in an absolute threat at the beginning of the season. They've continued to roll really steadily, and they showed why they can hang with any team. They're down 3, come back, match 3, and then late in the game get taken down in overtime by Procession. Procession, I think that's his second overtime goal, overtime game-winning goal, and a beautiful wraparound by him. But I don't know, Mississauga is one of my favorite teams to watch. Whenever they're in town, I'll even watch some games that are just them facing opponents, because I think they play one of the most fun styles of hockey. They're very aggressive. Their goaltending is up there with the best, if not in contention for the best. You got Ivan Kovic, and you have the monster that is Ryerson Leanders. So either way can swing when Mississauga's in town. It really is a shame that there isn't the attendance that you would hope from a team of this caliber in their home arena. But man, I love watching them.
Yeah, I remember the one time going down to Mississauga. I know I've said this before, but all the fans were down in the Battalion end because they were all Battalion fans.
Yeah.
There was hardly any blue and white jerseys in the stands. It was also end of March, and it felt like they were blowing air conditioning on you, cold air.
Yeah.
It was very cold in there.
It's what, the Fine Food Center? You got to keep that stuff fresh, Kortney.
It's true. It's true. And then finally for the Battalion, falling on Sunday to the Niagara Ice Dogs 3-2, in a game in which Charlie Robertson made his return to Memorial Gardens, picking up 34 saves on 36 shots. Andrew Vermeulen getting his 5th, followed by Kevin He, his 21st. Jacob Terrian brought it to within 1, That's his 15th of the season. And then Ryan Rubrick, the second overall pick in the last year's OHL priority selection, got his 10th or 13th of the season, followed by Andrew LeBlanc, his 12th of the season, to get the game-winning goal.
We knew that goaltending was going to be the name of the game coming into this one, and man, Charlie was unreal. Stopping, 34 out of 36 shots. He was looking ridiculous.
Yeah, he looked great.
Mike didn't look bad by any means to say that. It was just a couple of shots. Kevin He is just insane. And then, of course, Rubrick as well. Andrew LeBlanc had a really, really nice goal to put the second on the board for the battalion, but they couldn't get anything going past that late in the third. Andrew LeBlanc, with an insane individual effort, goes, cuts across the crease, tries a backhand on Charlie, picks it up, skates around the entire zone again, goes for the exact same play, still maintaining control of the puck the entire time, and shovels 1-5 hole. It was our average Joe's above average moment in the after action report. So if you want to hear our full thoughts, please go check that out. But yeah, an absolute ridiculous goal from him, but it wasn't enough against the Ice Dogs. And the Ice Dogs have had a couple of upsets this year because they do have a lot of offensive firepower. It's just overall as a team, sometimes they can't put everything together.
Yeah, that kind of seems to be the not necessarily the name of the game the last couple of years, because they haven't really had the offensive firepower. They haven't really had the depth or anything. But they're slowly starting. You can start to see something there. You know, with the Ice Dogs the past couple of years, they didn't have an identity. They were kind of, lost and wandering. Excuse me. Kind of a team that just lost its way.
Yeah.
But they're slowly building something more promising for the future, although fans, I'm sure, don't see it this year.
No, but they always do turn out in Niagara, no matter what team is put on the board there. And look, as much as I like to dunk on Niagara, the one thing I've consistently said throughout it is, man, I can't wait to eat my words in 3 years when they're really good. And, with pieces like Kevin He, with Rubrick, and with Charlie as well, he won't be around in 3 years. But as you said, there's pieces of a really good team here.
Very good team starting. Indeed, it all started with Kevin He as well. So Ryan Rubrick, also a big fan of his. But we'll shift our focus now to the NOJHL, considering we did have two Powassan Voodoos players on the podcast here today. That is the wrong game that we have up on our screen right now between the Voodoos and the French River Rapids. A couple of back-to-back 5-0 wins for the Voodoos this week against the Espanola Paper Kings, and then again the very next day against the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners. As everyone's favorite team, the Paper Kings, couldn't put up any goals. Cameron Lemke is 14th of the season. Matthew McMillan is 17th, who's also named an NOJHL Star of the Week. Matthew McMillan with his second of the game as well, before or just after the halfway point, is 18th of the season. Zach Turner with his 7th, and Reese Betham is 13th of the season. So the Voodoos back into the winning column in a big way against a rival like the Espanola Paper Kings.
Yep, putting at least 5 goals on the board in their past 3 showings, back-to-back shutouts. DeRocklow picking up one, and I think Wilcox picking up his first of the season. He hasn't had many showings in net, but when he has been in net, he's been absolute force. He's looked really, really good. And you were down in that French River game, and we talked about this a little bit in the last episode, I believe, that he looked really good in that one. Yep. Unfortunately, due to scheduling this week, I haven't been able to watch any of those away games, but it's really good to see Powassan bounce back after a couple of on and off weeks here.
Yeah, it had been a little rough.
Yeah, so it's the type of mentality that's really awesome to have, especially going into this back-to-back against Espanola, who, well, you just dusted there.
Yep.
And then they're always firing, they're a really, really feisty team. I think they have the most penalty minutes, but it's not just because they're rough and I won't say dirty, but they have a lot of offensive firepower as well. They're really tough in the corners. They'll beat you at the puck every single time if you give them the chance. And with speed, guys like Signoretti, holy, that dude can skate and he can shoot. And the Cubs have been a problem for the Voodoos this year, and especially in that last matchup we saw at home. You got to have that edge going into it, and I think getting back on the train like they have in these past few games is a really, really good sign for Powassan.
I have to agree. And like you said, this weekend they'll be playing Espanola and Sudbury. That's on Friday and Saturday in that one. But moving ahead to the next game, because the Voodoos absolutely goalied their way through the week with back-to-back shutouts, and that's a 5-0 victory over the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners. Cameron Lemke with his 15th, Zach Turner his 8th, Zach Turner again with his 9th, Matthew McMillan 19th as well, and Carson Ricci his 4th of the season. So, again, the Voodoos putting up some big convincing wins. But they'll be in tough this weekend as they welcome in Florida the Espanola Paper Kings. Completely lost my train of thought on that one. And the Greater Sudbury Cubs.
It's funny that you say Florida because looking at the way that Espanola plays, it's kind of Panthers-y.
Yeah, it kind of is.
So, yeah, it's...
The Florida Paper Kings.
The Florida Paper Kings.
Yeah.
Well, in Florida, you get to keep lots of your paper due to the tax laws there. Anyway, it is... Yeah, I'm just excited to have Voodoos hockey back. I'm excited to see it down there in the Sportsplex. It's felt like far too long.
It has been far too long.
And yeah, what an exciting weekend we have going on here. And things are starting to wrap up here in the NOJHL. We only got a couple more home games here for the Voodoos, I believe.
Yeah.
And then, was it end of February, the playoffs start?
Yeah, end of February, early March. We're getting to the point where it's your 1-year anniversary here soon, Harrison, as well. So
yeah, that's true. My first game that I called was a Voodoos playoff game. It was, I think, Game 5 of the Lumberjacks being in town.
Yep,
was the first one, and yeah, it's been almost a year.
It would have been Game 6.
It would have been Game 6. You're right, because they went and won 7, and then they faced Timmins after that. So yeah,
you know what was. Well, yeah, we don't like Timmins too much, but
no.
I think our first game was the Yippee-Ki-Yay goal.
Yes, it was, and
you fed off that really well with the burning Nakatomi Plaza.
Yeah, splitting the defense like the tower of Nakatomi Plaza falling down.
Yeah,
and yeah, I haven't been on mic much this year. Well, in a studio capacity, but not in calling because I've been doing a lot of the social media at the games, which has been a blast. Being down at ice level. You see the game a little bit differently down there, especially at the Sportsplex. Well, your feet are a lot colder because you're basically standing on the ice, quite literally. But a couple games ago, it was the Sudbury game, I got to stand down there while you were doing PA, and you really get a different feel for it, seeing how much smaller the Sportsplex ice is compared to a lot of other rinks, and how much faster the game moves in that arena. So it's sure to be another exciting one.
It's pretty fast-paced indeed, and if the Voodoos can come away with a big victory over the Cubs, I'd be very happy about that. I can't ever complain anytime I see the Voodoos take down the Cubs.
Yeah, no, watching any Sudbury team lose is always a pleasure. But it twice the pride, double the fall. Whenever they beat you, it hurts twice as much.
Well, maybe the Voodoos' powers have doubled since the last time they met count. Who knows?
This is pod racing. Are we just saying Star Wars quotes now? Because I'm here for it.
Wizard. Bringing it back.
Wizard.
That's a wizard, Harry.
Tubular, dude.
Yeah. I tried to go with Annie to Harry, and then I realized that Harry could also be wizard because Harry Potter, and then my mind broke after that.
Wizard Annie.
Well, okay. So I asked this of Miles and Caden. We talked about movies. I know we've talked about Star Wars, but I don't think I've ever gotten this question out to you. What's your favorite and least favorite Star Wars movie?
Ooh.
Oh,
okay.
Ben's staring daggers at you right now. So
okay, so there's two ways you can go about this: is what do you find the most entertaining, and what do you find as genuinely the best?
Yeah,
Empire is objectively the best Star Wars movie in my opinion. It hits all the tone that it aims for correctly. Ben is shaking at me. I know it's such a normie answer, just being like, well, Empire is the best Star Wars movie, but it hits a lot of those tones. It has a lot of variance in location. I think a lot of the characters in it are fun. The reveal, "No, I am your father." Like,
hey, you got
awesome.
The line right too.
Yeah,
look at that.
I don't wear these glasses for any reason, but it's I love Empire. It's probably one of the most formative movies of me growing up.
Yeah,
I still have like all my Star Wars figures individually bagged. I think the worst Star Wars movie, well, it's Episode 7.
Episode 7?
No, not 7. It's 8. Episode 8.
Okay,
My
I was
bad.
gonna say.
My bad. No, 7 is fine. 7 is kind
You
of
are having way too much fun with that.
7 is kind of milquetoast. It's like basically
It's okay.
bland. It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's fine.
It is what it is. Oh, I'm just gonna get soundboarded out of this episode.
Brutal.
But episode 9 is bad. Episode 9 is bad. Episode 7 I find more egregious because the way that it can't decide on a single story point.
Episode 9? Or
Episode 8.
Oh,
sorry. I'm confusing my numbers
The
here.
sequel trilogy is just bad.
The sequel trilogy is just bad. Episode 8 can't decide what story it wants to tell.
Yeah.
Episode 9 decides what story it wants to tell, and it just sucks. Like, that's the way I'm looking at it. At least I know what I'm watching with episode 9. Episode 8 is just, hey, we're going here. How about a little gambling? How about riding some things? We're going to free these animals, but leave all these little children who are in indentured servitude just to do whatever the heck they want. But hey, he can use the Force for a broom, so who really cares? Like, I don't know what episode 8 wants to tell me. So, welcome to the Star Wars cast. We're a hockey podcast. That's my opinion on the sequel trilogy there in a nutshell. Episode 9 sucks in the story it wants to tell. Episode 8 doesn't know what story it wants to tell. Episode 7 is kind of fine.
You know what I'm really mad about episode 8 about?
What?
Is that Ryan Johnson directs my favorite episode of Breaking Bad, which is the most generic episode of Breaking Bad, Ozymandias.
Yeah.
Because that episode's perfect, but like, you know, and he also directs The Fly, which, you know, is okay, but like I used to not like it, but then I've rewatched Breaking Bad. I'm like, yeah, this episode serves its purpose.
It's grown on me.
So when they were like, yeah, Ryan Johnson, and he did Looper, and I was like, oh, I like Looper too, and all this stuff. And then I watched episode 8, I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah. I was really disappointed. And then like he leaves that and then does Knives Out.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
And also Glass Onion, which is not as good as the first one, but it's still quite good. So he's such a confusing director.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I think the thing that is his like greatest strength and weakness is he kind of does what he wants.
Yeah.
And as we see in episode 8, or you see in a movie like Looper, or in episodes of Breaking Bad like Ozymandias, that can work really, really well.
Yeah. And that's the thing about it, though, is that the sheer arrogance of him and Kathleen Kennedy after episode 8 that came out where they're like, well, it's good.
No.
It's like, no, it's not.
It's so bad.
It's not.
It's so bad.
Okay, so here's the social media content for the week.
Okay.
All right. So, you know, talking to Miles and Caden, we got their points on, you know, the MCU and all this stuff. There's what, 12 Star Wars movies?
Yes. 12 main.
Yeah.
Whoa, yeah,
I don't care about the
okay.
shows. I'm just talking about the movies.
Yeah, so you're saying...
So you got the 9 episodes plus Rogue One,
Solo, and then...
Clone Wars.
I saw that in theaters.
Yeah, I did too. I saw it with that guy down at the other end of the table, actually.
Yeah, what a confusing movie. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so 12 Star Wars movies. Let's try and rank them from worst to best here. 12 to 1. So 12 is, for me, either episode 8 or 9.
Yeah, 8's the worst, and then 9, closely behind it.
Ben was
Closely
voting for
behind
9.
it.
Yeah. So episode 8 is the worst.
Yes.
So that's number 12.
Yep.
Episode 9 is 11.
Yep.
Okay.
Here's where things get interesting.
Yeah, now we're into movies that are like, they're good or they're okay.
So... Episode 5?
No.
Are you kidding?
No.
That had to be said just to trigger a reaction.
Yeah, that was 100%.
That was...
So I would put here, and this is where it gets tough because there's parts of all these movies that I really like now, and there's parts that I really don't like. So I would go with Solo.
I agree, because it tells an insulated story.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really do anything new, and it was far enough along in...
Yeah.
Well, it does a couple of new things for Star Wars,
Yeah.
but we're done a lot better in other shows like Andor.
Yeah.
I wish we could include Andor in this. I wish we could include Andor.
No, we're not doing the
so
shows.
I know. But yeah, because this would be a completely different
Ahsoka
list.
would be up there too and stuff. No?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's
fine.
Ahsoka gets it just for the episode with Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, but they also did that as, hey, this is the episode with Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, I guess so. But I can watch that whole entire part of live or die.
Yeah.
What? Incorrect. I can watch that whole scene over
You
and over
have
again.
chosen poorly.
And then when he's walking, and I know it's been overdone, the whole Vader Anakin, he's both. But when he's walking through the smoke and flashes back to Vader, I'm like, oh, let's go.
Let's go. Back to the so let's get on track in our off track portion of our hockey podcast.
Yeah.
And so we have 8 and 9.
Yeah.
And then Solo. I think we can agree on Solo.
Yeah.
And then I think I'd go 7.
7 is a really safe movie. And okay, so here's the thing about 7 that makes me want to put it up higher.
Okay.
Is that there was a lot of things that 7 tried to set up that was really interesting, and stuff that it did that was oh, that's kind of neat. That then Rian Johnson came in and was like, nope.
Okay. My argument against that, let's bring it back to hockey.
Yeah.
Somebody tries to do a really sick play.
Yeah.
But it results in a goal against.
Yeah.
Do you still count that as highly as something that actually nails it?
But the difference is the sick play happened in 2015. The goal against happened in 2017.
That's fair. Oh, man, this is like talking trade tree stuff. Okay. All right.
So
while
we made a deal to acquire Wayne Gretzky, and ultimately we sold him off for pennies, kind of thing. Yeah. The thing about episode 7, and I'm not saying it should be top 5 or anything, because it doesn't deserve to be top 5. But the thing about episode 7 is that they needed to come to a really safe spot after at the time the public perception around the prequels. So I didn't have a problem with that. I don't appreciate that it's the same story as A New Hope.
Yeah.
But again, there's stuff with Snoke's really interesting. What are they going to do with Kylo Ren? And what is this whole Rey thing? And they found Luke. Let's go. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
And then he throws the lightsaber over his shoulder, and Kylo Ren's now just going to cry and break his helmet. And Snoke's dead.
Yeah. Blue milk.
But see, the blue milk's good when it's in episode 4.
That's true. Okay, so
I would put if I had to right here, I would put the Clone Wars movie.
We're including that?
Well, if we're doing 12, that
okay.
Makes 12.
Yeah. Okay. I put the Clone Wars movie there. The Clone Wars movies I would put the Clone Wars movie and then Solo.
So 8, 9, Clone Wars movie, Solo. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'd be okay with doing episode 7 then.
And then episode 7.
So that's what?
That's 5 out of 12.
Okay.
All right.
So now we're getting into there's 3 options here for me.
Yeah. And they're probably Clone Wars, Revenge of the Sith, and episode 6.
No.
Oh.
Well, one of them, Attack of the Clones, is in there.
Okay.
I was going to say Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace, or Rogue One.
I think Rogue One deserves one spot higher than this.
Okay.
And then I feel fine having Phantom Menace here.
Okay.
That's kind of where my mind lies.
And where I was sitting here being wow, Phantom Menace objectively is not a great movie.
No.
But the end duel is perfect.
Yes.
But
I'd say that the final fight sequence, that entire finale of Attack of the Clones, is better than that one fight in Phantom Menace.
Oh yeah.
That's why I'd put Phantom Menace here over Attack of the Clones.
That's fair. So our official ranking so far.
Yes.
So now we're at to Phantom Menace. Now the next one, are we going Attack of the Clones or are we going?
I'm fine with that.
Okay, so Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones. So now we're into what, the top 4?
Yep, top 4, which leaves Revenge of the Sith, and then episode 5, episode 6.
And Rogue One. I put Rogue One here.
Yeah, Rogue One here. And then episode 6?
I'd put episode 6, yeah.
And then...
So here's where we're going to divert.
Okay.
I'm a Revenge of the Sith guy. But the thing about it is Revenge of the Sith is 1A and Empire is 1B.
Okay.
I flip-flop between the two all the time.
See, this is what I was talking about at the beginning is like, are we going to look at it as what is the best movie or what movie do I enjoy the most?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where we landed here.
Okay, so I'd be okay saying Revenge of the Sith 2 and Empire is number 1.
What? You're going Revenge of the Sith 1. Okay. This is coming from a guy who, okay.
He has the Star Wars tattoos all over his arm, too.
Small little story here. Before, I was probably 6 or 7. No, I was probably 7 or 8. And Revenge of the Sith was the only Star Wars movie up until that point that I was able to see in theaters.
Yeah, same. I'm exactly on the same boat as you.
Not knowing what was going to happen in this movie.
Oh, you had no idea.
I dressed up as Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, no.
To go see Revenge of the Sith in theaters as a youngling.
Oh, no.
But no, I was...
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, and I was like,
that's brutal.
Okay. Here we go. I'm dressing up as Anakin Skywalker to go see the movie.
Oh my God.
Where he
kills kids.
He murders a bunch of children. I'm like, oh, that's kind of fun. Oh no.
Anakin's my favorite. To be fair though, Anakin's my favorite character in Star Wars.
Yeah, like, so I knew he was. I'd obviously seen the original trilogy. I knew that, like, the whole he used to be Anakin thing, but I didn't know like he was gonna go like full heel and just like, okay, here we go.
In like 2 seconds after being turned to the dark side.
Yeah, he just like, oh no, hey, let's throw one of the coolest characters out the window. I'm bad. I kill kids now. Like, that happens in like 30 seconds.
I mean, okay, so a lot of people, like, objectively, yeah, like, there's a lot of problems with it, but a lot of people, like, get really mad at that, how quickly that turn is. It was like, but no, like, from episode 1, you can see it.
Yeah, but there's also another movie in between that.
Yeah, no, but that's what I mean. Like, episode 1, you can start to see the seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 2, you start to see them sprout.
Yeah.
Of him like killing the Tusken Raiders and how ruthless he is and running head first at Count Dooku and stuff. And then in episode 3, it's like, okay, like, so when people sit here and go, oh, the turn is so quick, it's like, it's not, it is, but it isn't.
No, like the overall arc isn't fast.
Yeah.
But that moment where he decides to just completely, all right, I'm going to chop up your arm. You're out the window. Now I murder children.
Yeah.
Like
that part has my favorite line though in the entire series where he Mace Windu's out the window and it's like silent for a second. He drops the lightsaber, falls back. He's like, what have I done?
What have I done? And even in that moment, he's showing her
your destiny, Anakin.
All right, so official ranking is 8, 9.
Well, we might as well say the names.
Okay.
So official ranking: Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, which is a stupid name for that movie.
And then Clone Wars, Solo.
Yep.
And then Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And then what do we have after
Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace.
Attack of the Clones.
And then Rogue One.
Return of the Jedi. Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
And then Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
That's our official Star Wars ranking. The Frontline. You came here for hockey, we gave you Star Wars. And Ben Sargent, producer down there extraordinaire, does not agree with it.
This is going to take me like 3 hours to edit to be concise on the social media clip. It's going to be worth it, but it's going to take me so long. I am my own worst enemy.
Okay, here let's before we wrap this episode up, because we've gone completely on like so far away from things.
At least
in
we
a
saved it
galaxy
for the
far
end.
away. Yes. What's your favorite? Okay, other than favorite movies, what's your favorite moment in Star Wars?
It is. I don't remember. I think it's Umbara from the Clone Wars, but I'll just simply label it the War Crimes arc.
Oh yeah,
in Clone Wars.
There's so many.
Yeah,
so
but
many.
Specifically a 3-episode arc where the clones are invading a planet. And then there's like a evil Jedi general.
Yeah.
And he like slowly turns the clones against each other and like sets them up in battle to just like massacre each other. And then like it's where the popularity of the phrase "good soldiers follow orders" comes from. And it talks about like a lot of emotional and like complex political complexity and like a really entertaining like action filled like 3-episode arc. And it's also just like, it's still kind of kid friendly. I just think it's like really impressive as a piece of children's media, and also just like overall like some of my favorite TV in general.
So I when you were talking about that, I was trying to think of what my favorite moment was, and I that's a good moment for sure. And since we're going to talk about the shows here as well, I had to throw this on. But I thought of this moment in episode 3, but then I thought of, as good as it was in episode 3, and people don't like the show as much, I think Kenobi did this moment better, the TV show. And that's the moment where the Vader's helmet gets sliced.
Oh, yeah.
And Obi-Wan's talking to him, and he's like, you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, that whole scene to me, regardless of what you think of Kenobi, regardless of what you think of that fight, that whole entire part. And again, whatever people think of Kenobi, you can't say that Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen didn't go like hardcore for that.
Oh, yeah.
They were fantastic. But that whole scene, and then with the lightsaber changing from, like, the color on his face changed from blue to red as, like, the maniacal face comes out and stuff. Like, I love that scene so much.
It's so good. It's so good.
That's probably my favorite Star Wars moment.
Yeah. Hello there. Okay.
Yeah. No, that's pretty good. But on the flip side, my least favorite Star Wars moment would probably be not like here where everything's rough or smooth. I hate sand. It's rough and coarse, and it gets everywhere. Not like here where everything's so smooth. There, I fixed it.
Somehow, Palpatine returned.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, too. Oh, that's so stupid. Oh,
so
thanks.
dumb.
You've ruined it. Oh, yeah, though, that's terrible. At least you can make a meme out of the sand thing.
Yeah. Somehow, the sand has returned to my jorts.
I just forgot how much I hated Rise of Skywalker thing. And that movie title is so stupid because, like, there's no Skywalker that rises. She's just like literally, I'm a Palpatine, but nope.
Rise of the Adoption Papers.
Yeah. And meanwhile, they got CGI Carrie Fisher looking on and smiling with Mark Hamill.
Yeah, it's not very good.
And the whole bastardization of Luke Skywalker in episode 8 is just... I saw this video recently where it was like, my childhood died the day that Luke Skywalker died. It was like, my childhood died because he got tired is what it was.
Yeah. Just, it's the most realistic old person death, though. Just like, I'm wiped. Goodbye.
Yeah. Out.
Yeah. Well, that's how Yoda died, too.
Yeah.
He was
rest,
just like,
rest. I must
beast.
rest.
All right.
Yoda, I need to know, is Darth Vader actually my dad? No, I must sleep now.
Goodbye.
But yes, he is. Anyways, bye.
Maybe we should say our goodbyes.
That's the thing. That's the thing that's funny is that George Lucas only can like put that scene in that movie because like he's like, oh yeah, kids are probably not gonna believe it.
No.
So
yeah.
But Star Wars. Star Wars is like a toxic relationship. Because it's like you want to love it so much and you keep giving it chances to like love you back and then they just keep like kicking you.
Yeah.
And then they're like, but why don't you care about us? And it's like, because you keep kicking us.
Yeah. But also take my money. Buy yourself something nice. It's okay, Disney. It's on me. Yeah, because they need my chump change.
Oh my God. And they've like ruined like, and I'll say that Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is not that bad.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. Like I don't really hate any Indiana Jones movie. Like even like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I don't hate it. It's not great, and I'm getting some like
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is bad. It's bad. I'm with Ben on this one. The side of the table we've switched sides.
But like
switching sides.
There's not. I don't like when I rewatch it. It's like I don't hate this movie, but then there's something that they do between Crystal Skull and Dial of Destiny that they do off screen that I'm like, that deserved an on screen moment. Like, come on. But anyways, I don't want to say too much because you haven't seen it.
Yeah. Hey, sorry, Jess. I know I just stayed out till 7 p.m. and off of work and just got home, but I got to watch Dial of Destiny now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll do chores later.
So, but they've taken every single IP that Lucasfilm had. Like, I don't really care much for Wicket, but from what I've seen online, they ruined that.
Yeah.
And then they didn't really do anything to like make Indiana Jones better.
Okay. It was just kind of doing it to be like, hey, we have our actual closing piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's retcon the movie, kind of.
But I am pretty excited for the game.
Yes, me too. Oh, man. I'm really excited.
In the circle or whatever I can't even remember. The Great Circle. Yeah, that's right. It is kind of a dumb name, but and people are losing their mind too about it being first person. But it's like,
you get to be Indiana Jones.
Yeah. What more do you want?
Yes. I'm named after Indiana Jones.
I
am named after Harrison Ford.
Amazing.
I am actually named after Harrison Ford.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, then you need to get a dog named Indiana and pretend that's your name now.
Yeah. I need a dog just to say that that's my name.
That's one of my favorite revealing moments in that whole entire series at the end of Last Crusade when he's like, we named the dog Indiana. And then what's his name there? John Rhys Davis's character. I can't remember his name.
He loses his mind.
He's like the dog's name is Indiana.
The dog's name?
So good. Also, the other thing that's funny about this Sean Connery being his dad when he's only like 11 years older than Harrison Ford. Like, I love Last Crusade though. I love all three of those first like 3 movies.
They're so fun.
Like, people can be like, oh, Temple of Doom's the weakest one. It's like, nah, it's not really.
It's the weakest one, but still a fun time.
Yeah, like you can have a good time with it, especially when they're eating monkey brains. Mm-hmm. But I could go on about Lucasfilm like all day long.
We have.
Yeah. So with that being said, the Voodoos are back in action this weekend. We'll have a lot of their calls here, and a huge thank you again to Miles Gordon and Caden Dubreuil for coming in here and talking films as well with us. Harrison, as always, we now have our official ranking of Star Wars.
Yes, in case anybody was wondering, and even if you weren't, now you know.
Yeah.
Ben's still mad. Stay mad.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to get cut from this entire episode when the YouTube video goes up. It's just like you going on
about Star Wars.
It's still going to be an hour and a half long.
Yeah. All right. With that being said, again, huge thank you to Miles Gordon and Caden Dubreuil for coming on this episode. Again, a huge thank you to Harrison from the Garrison as well. Producer Ben Sargent at the other end of the table. And once again, you can find us on YouTube and anywhere that you stream all of your podcasts. I'm Kortney Kenny, and keep your eye on the Frontline.
The Frontline, hosted by Kortney Kenny, the official podcast of the Powassan Voodoos.